What's good, y'all? Hope everybody's living well and staying blessed. It's your boy Marcus B, and I'm not with Evan. He actually went home already. But this is episode 16 of Holla At Yuh Boi, and today, just like this intro, it was a little bit different, and we actually did it over Zoom. And who better to do it with than the homie from back in the day, Mr. Max Carney. He is currently a music producer slash engineer slash videographer slash director. The dude does a little bit of everything, but he is based out of LA, California, and he has been killing it for the past 5 years out there. And the conversation was a great time. We talked about all the things that I just said about being in LA. We talk about a little bit of our childhood, a couple of our favorites. We're a little bit all over the place with this episode, but it was a great time nonetheless. As always, if you guys like what we're doing out here, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, 5-star ratings, all those things. Just make sure you're showing us some love if you like what we're doing out here. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the episode. Peace. Yo, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Good, man. Good. How are you doing?
Doing well, man. Just trying to figure everything out. I mean, this is a large part of it. Trying to
Yeah.
figure out all this online teaching stuff. It's been
Oh, yeah. I
kind
can't
of a
imagine.
mess over
The
here.
modern teacher, right?
Yeah, dude. Just every day is like a new issue. Like I
Yeah.
said, we just got these. I took this camera that I'm using is
Yeah.
the one that I just picked up, and I'm trying to figure it out to make sure that it actually works. So hopefully it doesn't cut out halfway through this.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be fine. I hope so. It looks good. It looks
Thanks,
good,
man.
but like
Huh?
half of that is just you.
So first and foremost, man, go ahead and tell everybody who you are, what you do, where you're from, fun
All right.
facts.
Oh man, where I'm from is really funny. But I am Max Carney. I went to Texas State. That's how I met Marcus, which
Go
feels like
Cats.
a long time ago. But
Dude.
since graduating in 2015, I moved out to
That's
Los Angeles, and I've been here ever since. So I still live in Los Angeles, and I've gone between uh, managing studios out here for project recording and just general album recording, to managing small film studios and digital marketing and digital video, and everything kind of in between. So I've done everything from like post-production coordination and management to just working with some really cool artists and cool people all around. And yeah, I mean, it's a tough question to answer, funny enough, like what I do. I'm still trying to figure it out. So but
yeah.
isn't that the struggle, right?
Yeah, man.
So
Well, the joys of the degree that you got where you just
yeah,
have
it's
this.
so abstract, right? Like it's such a weird one to tell people, because it's always followed by like, okay, cool. So for the listeners, bachelor's in science in sound recording technology through the School of Music. So it's
Yeah.
like this weird hybrid degree that doesn't really add up to any single degree, so it doesn't really get you anywhere, but it sounds cool. It's a great like little conversation starter at parties.
For sure. It's
But yeah, and
to me
go ahead.
it's a hustle degree.
It
Like
is a hustle degree. Yeah.
it's not conducive right out the gate, but if you figure something out, you'll be fine.
I always like to think of it as like it's a degree in learning how to learn. So like
Yeah.
you what you get out of it, or what I got out of it the most, was like uh learning the infrastructure in which to better your skills in a very rapid way, right? So like anything from like learning how to do video editing, to shooting photography, to I mean, like I've built some computers and stuff out here for companies, My last job was like IT and operations, and like all of that stuff
Jeez,
I couldn't have done without having this kind of degree and figuring things out on the fly and troubleshooting in real time. So like that's really what the degree is. And like everybody, you'll see like most graduates do different things. Like I'm constantly impressed by just the SRT grads from Texas State, because they all do something different.
For sure.
It's really crazy. Like there's like maybe one per class that actually goes into like studio recording, and then you'll have like guys who become touring musicians, guys who decide that they want to build instruments and consoles and gear. Like it's
Really?
insane.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, I've seen a lot of them who do that. Like it's really all over the place, and it's what you make of it. So it's
For sure.
It's a lot of fun. And then where I'm from, I used to be able to say I'm from Fort Hood, and now, I don't, because not a popular place to be from right now. It's
Not
kind of
staking too much claim there.
Yeah, if you see Fort Hood in the news, it's never like, Fort Hood is a great military base where you should raise your kids. It's always like, no, like 3 soldiers raped a woman and they're on trial for it, and it's pretty bad. Like, it's crazy. It's not okay. So like, I don't talk about Fort Hood very much. And I lived Fort Hood adjacent, not like on base.
So it doesn't count then. Yeah.
That's what I like to think, right? But nobody knows where the fuck Colleen is. I'm sorry, can I curse on this podcast?
Did we make it past 5 minutes?
No.
Whatever.
Oh no, I didn't know there's a 5-minute rule.
Well, it's in general for the like the YouTube algorithm. Eventually, when we're rich and famous off of the the whole monetization of the show.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I think there's something with the algorithm where it's like after 5 minutes, it considers
It
you
stops listening.
a clean show, but whatever.
Well,
But-
I said fire truck is what I said.
Yeah, man.
It's the Zoom thing, and just kind of glitches every now and then.
Yeah, man. They're still trying to figure out Zoom because they didn't know that they were going to be this super important company.
I'll tell you what, man. I was talking to since I was managing IT at this startup. So I've worked in startups for 4 years and doing like all sorts of the whole litany of things, just in that time. And in one of my spells, I was an IT manager, and I did operations and stuff for like a company of like 50 people.
Okay.
And so during that time, I was setting up like conference lines and conference phones, and I was on the phone with Zoom a lot, and talked to their account rep and everything. This would have been mid 2019, so probably maybe around this time last year.
Okay.
Or a little before. And like I talked to maybe like 6 or 7 guys from Zoom, and made some friends, just going back and forth trying to get the deals done. And it's so funny because like before quarantine even happened, I was like, you guys have your shit together. Like you guys are gonna blow up. Like I would invest in you if I could. And then all of a sudden, come February, I was like, man, I really should invest in these guys. And then March, I was like, wow, I really should have invested in these guys.
Oh man, you had your chance.
Oh, I knew the whole time going into it. So it was a little bit of a missed opportunity, but what can you do?
Yeah, life goes on.
But they're good
man.
people. They're all really really good customer service guys. Like they really care about their consumers and the people who use the product. So like I'm a big fan of Zoom as a result.
Right on, man. I am still very unfamiliar with Zoom as a platform, as a video conference, what have you, because
I mean, there's so many now.
There's so many, exactly.
Except Skype, which really huge missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
When I say, you ever find yourself saying lately, like, hey, no, I'll Skype you, and you don't mean Skype at all?
Yeah. Like
I found myself saying that a few times.
It's like a Band-Aid and Q-tip at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, hey, you want a Coke? And they're like, yeah, I'll take a Dr. Pepper.
Exactly.
Like, I guess that makes sense. Some parts of the country, it makes sense. Like, as opposed to like, if you're in Minnesota, it's like, hey, you want a pop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Who was it? Alabama? A cola?
Cola, yeah.
Somebody.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Something
that's
that.
That's too funny. Regional dialects, yeah.
So you said you've been doing these startups for the past 4 years. So you've just been random gigs by chance? Like how?
So I actually had I was working for a very modern company. I was working in the cannabis media space, right? So there's very new frontiers, kind of Wild West, and started with this company called Prohibited, which started up in like 2014, and I joined on like late 2015, early 2016.
Gotcha.
So I was employee like number 8 technically, but I was
wow.
like I was like in the first like 6 full-time people there.
Okay.
And I stayed with that company the whole 4 years or so, and kind of watched it grow and develop. And we went through like the seed round, we went through a Series A, and almost were able to go through a Series B, but then just through happenings and whatever, like, you know, the business became more unstable and they weren't able to sustain, and so it kind of fizzled out. And they still exist technically, but they had to pretty much downsize everything. And so like parts of the company got separated, and it's crazy. But I learned a lot about startup companies in that time, and a lot about just like how business functions as a whole.
Gotcha.
So it was a great experience, and it was a lot of fun. It's crazy at times. Like I think I was working like 60-hour weeks most weeks.
Okay.
But it was like, I don't know, there's something just kind of magical about it, and just this like very, you know, very Wild West feel, very unexplored territory. Like I mean, when you think of cannabis, of weed, of pot, you know, you think of like this illegal kind of like, I don't know, some people think of it as like this really dark context, like it's the boogeyman, right? And others are like, it's just a plant. Some people are like, it's medicine. Everybody's right, except the people who are like, it's bad for you, it's a boogeyman. Like that's I think a little much. But
I mean, it's still stuck in that what is it, 40s propaganda?
Yeah, stuck in this crazy propaganda. Yeah, 20s through the 40s, they villainized it just because, you know, the business.
It was
Harry Anslinger, actually.
Harry Anslinger, yeah.
Yeah, so he villainized it and really criminalized it just because they wanted paper to beat out hemp.
Yep.
As a product.
He had all those farms, and
what's crazy is that ultimately the cause of like this huge stigma is the ridiculous sustainability of the plant used in everyday materials.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy when you think about it. Like if you think about it in just like ones and zeros in a very binary sense, it's kind of like that's an insane reason. It's like a decision made entirely by business. But
especially
wild,
once you look into like the almost alien likeness of hemp and how quickly it grows and how many like different uses they have for it. You can make plastic out of it. Once I found out you could make plastic out of
like
hemp.
and like sustainable plastic too, not these like weird polymers that don't like to break down in nature. Like the hemp polymers will break down naturally. So like having something that's automatically compostable, that's infinitely recyclable, like it probably is a danger. It's just like with I think it was Chevy or Ford who figured out kind of like electric cars in the hybrid vehicle in probably the late 90s, and they were like, we can never release this to the public because then people won't buy cars.
Yep.
Which was like, that's kind of fucked up, right? So
well, and then that was actually the second time, because if I'm not mistaken, actually before the Ford Model T back in 1920, like someone had created a car based off of Tesla's like invention, but it was the same idea. The dudes, the brothers at Ford were like, nah, man, we want our business to succeed, so let's stifle this electronic car company thing.
Yeah, it was like this idea of sustainability was scary just because it meant that consumers would have something that lasts for longer than expected, right? So then why would they go and buy new ones?
Yeah.
The first electric car was in 1890.
1890.
Holy shit.
Yeah, William Morrison.
Dang.
That's amazing. Oh my God. That's amazing.
1890?
Yeah.
God bless. And the Ford Model T came out in, if you wouldn't mind checking that.
That was when Teddy Roosevelt was still romping about, right?
Yeah, man. Going to get, was it Roosevelt that would go get lost in Yosemite Park for like months at a time?
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm gonna dip out for a little bit. Make sure that the country doesn't shut down.
1908 was the Ford Model T.
1908 Ford Model T.
That's wild.
So almost 20 years before.
Wow.
There was an electric car.
Dude,
yep.
That's bananas. That's bananas, man.
I mean, on a much lesser, I don't want to say lesser scale, on a different scale. People are figuring these things out where
apples and oranges.
Where history was like not correctly talked about or taught about towards us as we were growing up. Where because everybody knows that the first car was the Ford Model T, and
or at least that's what we've been
exactly.
told,
it's like that's first car, 1908, first car, and then you're just like, well, not really, because homie in 1890 created this electric car, and you're just like, huh?
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like you got to look at who's writing the history books, and like you don't think about it until you're an adult, and you're like, how is this not taught in school? Like I don't understand that, right? So I don't know. It makes me think of like, you ever see the movie Good Will Hunting?
Not in a long time,
Williams,
but
Matt
yes.
Damon. So he has like a line in there or something, and I'm paraphrasing because I know I don't know it. I need to watch it again. But he effectively says like, you paid all this money for a Harvard education when a library card is free.
Oof.
Yeah. I was like, damn,
that's a good one. I know that I need to go back and watch it now that I'm older, because I know that movie is just chock full
it's so good. It's a good
knowledge.
Robin Williams movie.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace to Robin Williams. Shout out to Robin Williams for being great.
Larger than life, dude. I watch Aladdin so much. I got Disney Plus for free. That sentence by itself is so weird. I watch Aladdin so much you wouldn't even believe. No, I got Disney Plus because Verizon's trying to make excuses for being a shitty company. So they were like, "Hey, you can have Disney Plus for a year." And I was like, "Cool, but I'd also like service." And so I got this free Disney Plus membership, and since then, my girlfriend and I have been watching the whole catalog. She's making her way through like all the classics animated movie. Yeah, just doing like significant animated movies since their beginning, and like one that I always love no matter what is Aladdin. It's probably, I'd say, my favorite Disney. If there was like a power rankings list of Disney movies, that one's top 5 for sure, my number 1. But as far as like an objective top 5 goes,
I would probably say objective top 5, Aladdin. I would say
it's definitely in the top 5. I don't know where it sits in the top 5.
I would say comfy is Aladdin. Lion King. Get your opinion on this, Evan. But
Lion King's good. Yeah, let's get 5 going. So we got Lion King, Aladdin. Those are both up there. I think
you got to give up to the OG, Cinderella. Right? Was she the first one? No,
I mean, if you want.
Snow White. Snow White was the word. My fault. So Snow White.
Which, like the animation, if you go back and watch, like the animation's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Like there's so much that they weren't able. I mean, it's just different techniques. And like I was fortunate enough to have a friend who worked over at ABC at Disney, which is like a stone's throw. I'm like pointing at it. It's just right there. It's like a stone's throw down the 134 over there. And I got to like go in the studio and see some of the machines that they used for those early animated movies. And like, it's insane. It's really, really cool. And like, and just like watching the movie with that context behind it is so fascinating. Just to see like, not just to see how far we've come, but also to see like how that adaptation takes place over time. So like they're good, like the idea of like, well, we can animate things. Well, how do we animate things? Like, well, we have to use this big machine. That's really the only way. And then all the way to now where like I can literally animate something on my iPad through oh God, what's that app called? I don't remember, but the like listeners, check it out. There's an app on iPad where you can animate shit. It's free.
Yeah, no, I know that there's Okay, so we got
power rankings. We've got Aladdin up there. We've got Lion King.
Yep.
Snow White for the OGs right up there.
What else?
I'd like to throw. I think Hercules is in there.
Oh,
Hercules for sure for music. Oh content.
My God, yes.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
It's so good.
Hercules, honey, you mean Hercules?
Yeah, exact, dude. And then Hades as a villain is just so weirdly likable.
Yeah. I think
there's no other Disney villain, I think, that
might be the first villain that everybody loved.
Yeah. You got James Woods in the spot.
Yeah.
Who's like kind of a weird, ambiguous, like, is he likable, is he not, like kind of figure, right? Yeah. But loved him as Hades.
And then
Mulan.
Mulan?
Yeah.
Oh, Mulan is good.
I'd put
Mulan's
Mulan
got great music.
for sure.
I always get weird with Mulan though, not because of the movie. I think Mulan is top 5 because like as far as Disney movies go, I think it transcends with like this new style of like we have a heroine
Yes.
and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
can be the protagonist and she doesn't need to be saved by a man.
She just go do it herself, man.
Yeah, she's gonna do it herself. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
so like
dope.
I think that's up there too. That rounds out 5.
I
That's
don't know.
pretty
Is there,
good. There's so many.
Toy
though.
Story is Pixar, right?
That's
Yeah.
Pixar. I consider that
Yeah.
Pixar. So like I consider so there's a dividing line, right? Because like I've asked people about this several times. It's like top 5 Disney movies and top 5 Pixar movies, and there's some gray lines, but the differentiation,
That's a word, yeah.
that's a word. Sure it is that Disney has music that is integral to the movie, right? So like sing along type stuff.
Yeah.
Pixar might have music, but it's not integral to the movie. So things on the
That's
Pixar side
yeah.
would be like Toy Story or The Incredibles or Monsters Inc. Whereas something like a Frozen falls into the Disney category because you have sing along type songs.
I never thought about it like that, but that makes as much sense as it probably could.
Yeah, and like
In my head.
a big confusing one there is like where does Coco fall? I say it's a
Ooh.
Disney movie. Even though it's Disney Pixar, it's a Disney movie just because like also by the way, underrated.
Is
That
it
music
underrated?
that
Dude,
music is
in Texas,
fantastic.
in Texas, that is A1 because you know it speaks to the family
Oh
out
my
here.
God, it's great.
But maybe out there in California with all those Cali
it speaks.
Mexicans.
I'm in SoCal. Yeah, Cali Mex is not the same as Tex Mex, by the way. Don't get it twisted because the food sucks out here as far as like Cali Mex versus Tex Mex.
Doesn't
Not
compare.
even close. Not even close. They can't figure out queso out here. It's disappointing, to say the least.
That's heartbreaking. Something so
well,
simple.
it gives me a reason to go back to Texas every
That's
now.
fair, man.
Yeah.
Which diverting. I was super excited to see you, along with everybody else at Steven's wedding. That
and then
had to get postponed.
Yeah, that was a total bummer.
Such a bummer.
Now it's not till January. I'm still gonna come out for it, like whenever it happens. But total bummer, right?
So excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I know. I mean, that's gonna be so much fun.
But yeah, I was looking forward because I was aware of. I saw the photo of him and all the groomsmen. So you were in there, and I was like, oh, dude, I haven't seen these guys in so long. Then I thought about like probably who they're inviting. I'm like, man, it's gonna be
lit,
a nice little reunion. Everybody getting back together. Spread. Everybody's grown now.
Yeah.
Like a majority of us haven't kicked it since we were 21, 22. Yeah, it'll be a good time, man.
Yeah, much like in the words of Aaron Lewis, it's been a while.
It's been
that one's for like the 6 Stain fans out there, and the rest of us closeted Stain fans who don't talk about it, but we're like, you know,
dude. I mean,
even like Mud Shovel though, you know, it's a pretty good song. I don't know.
Even if you don't know Stain, like you know, it's been a while. Like, come on.
Oh, I hope so.
Come on,
I feel like that's culturally a song that's like
again one of those.
It's butt rock.
Soft rock.
Like, no, it's butt rock. It's butt rock. Hear me out. So I call it butt rock. Why?
Okay.
Because it always comes on the stations that you get like 98.5, nothing but rock, butt rock. Like, you know what I'm talking about? You know exactly the stations I'm talking. If you're passing through like Central Texas, I think it's like 101.7, like something like that. Or
okay.
Or I think this makes me think of high school now. I'm trying to think of like on my shitty Honda Accord. Number 6 was that rock station.
106.7?
107.9. Maybe?
I think 106.7 was the one in San Antonio.
That's definitely a station.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's in
106.7.
Oh, yeah, because I had the Accord in San Marcos too, so I would have marked that one.
Yeah.
But back home there was like 107.9.
That yeah.
It's like trying to remember your friends' phone numbers in like elementary school.
You know what's wild?
What's that?
All numbers. I don't remember. Like I barely remember any of my childhood because you know the good old brain trauma from getting multiple concussions. As we.
I was gonna say. Yeah. Drumming, kids. Don't be a drummer, kids.
Don't be a drummer. Don't get into fighting. Wear your helmet when you're.
Or wear a helmet
biking.
when you get into fighting.
Yeah. Just wear a helmet in general. I didn't really believe in a helmet as I was growing up.
Guys, fighting is cool, but CTE is not. So like.
Yeah. And soccer, unspoken truths. so many concussions happen in soccer.
Yo, low key, what is like low key the most, I don't want to say violent, but like most surprising contact sport? I part of me wants to say soccer because you mentioned it. Oh God, yeah, I guess so.
Those girls throw down. They do not care.
Yo, straight up though, like girls,
about
like
anything.
women's field hockey, way more intense than men's.
Is there men's field hockey? Is that a thing?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking lacrosse.
Lacrosse. Is there men's field hockey?
Let me see.
Double check that.
Yeah, can we fact check that?
Because I've only ever known if there's a men's field hockey league,
nobody watches it. That's the thing.
Nobody watches it.
Nobody talks about it. Nobody watches it.
It's a thing. Men's field hockey.
Wow, it's a thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Is it?
Is it? Are they just like, bad lacrosse players?
Yeah, it's like B league.
It's got to be bad lacrosse players.
Sorry, D league lacrosse.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
That's crazy. I'm not gonna acknowledge it.
No.
Women's field hockey probably because I've seen those highlights, and God bless those girls are throwing shoulders into people's heads to get.
Oh my God, yes. Women's soccer is another one.
Women's soccer.
Like, it's actually like only. I'm not saying only World Cup, but international play for women because for some reason the USA is really fucking good at women's soccer. And
the best.
I don't understand why, but like we're the best, like hands down, and have been for a long time. It's really weird. Yet the men's soccer team can't get their shit together like ever, which I blame on. I don't blame it on anything. They're just not good. I can't even think of one thing because they're that bad. But women's soccer is a treat to watch. It's tons of fun.
It really is, man. It's
yeah.
Why is men's soccer so bad?
I feel like it's because there's so much more of an emphasis on youth basketball, youth football as opposed to youth soccer in the States. That like it's conflicting seasons with like basketball or
do all the A1 kids go to Europe? Is that what it is? Do they get?
Maybe. I mean, I do feel like you're not going to play highlight in the States, right? You'd play highlight if you were like, okay, let's say you grew up in like Wisconsin and you were like, highlight is the greatest sport ever. I think you'd be in a minority, but you'd be
super
you'd
minority.
Probably be like, I need to go live in Brazil.
Yeah.
And just kind of make your way down there.
That makes sense.
So like, there's no way you'd stay in the States. So I feel like if you are a soccer player worth your salt, unless you're like a Landon Donovan type that's like, I'm gonna bring soccer to the USA, then probably gonna leave.
Tim Howard tried to. Shout out to what was that, 2014?
Yeah,
the World Cup where he just had this ridiculous
16, right?
16?
No, would it be? If that's no,
I think it was.
I don't know.
It was 14.
Maybe it was 14.
Yeah, it was 14.
Yeah, because then would that mean 18 was the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
and
that's right.
We just got
it's like a 2-year difference from the
demolished.
Olympics. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Because 2010 was Spain.
World Cup is Winter Olympics.
That's right. Because 06 Germany, 2010 was South Africa, and Spain won.
Yes.
And then 14 was Brazil, and 14.
I believe it was Brazil. Was it Brazil?
Yeah,
was it? Is that right?
Yeah, 14 was Brazil.
14 was Brazil.
So where was 18?
Was it Brazil again?
Korea? South Korea?
Really?
1 second.
Can we fact check that?
Russia, Sochi.
Oh, that's right. That's
right.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because I remember seeing pictures of like the showers and stuff. I was like, ugh.
Super rough. Yeah,
classic Russia,
Classic Russia again,
but not like classic Russia like Rachmaninoff or Tchaikovsky. Like that's much cooler. Classic Russia.
That's the good classic Russia.
I do wish you could say something like classic Russia, and then you just get guys with giant mustaches, like pre-revolution.
Yeah.
Like early 20th century, late 19th century, like kind of cool shit like that.
The somewhat good times.
Yeah, like for some reason I picture a golden egg, like something really ornate.
Yeah.
That opens and you're like, I don't know what's in here. What is this for? It's a decoration.
All that to say, backtrack off the CTE thing. Yeah, for some reason, I remember my middle school home phone number still.
No shit.
Yeah.
What happens if we call it?
I have no idea. I've been thinking about it a lot. and I was almost about to recite it, but I don't want it to be
went-
somebody's actual number. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can still remember. I can barely remember. Like me and Evan have talked about this. His memory
Yeah.
is stupid. He can.
Oh yeah.
Your first grade class?
Yeah.
He remembers his first grade class.
First and last.
That's impressive. That's like borderlines between like savant and cool party trick though. Like it's one of those really fun things. Like, well, I actually remember my entire first grade class, but like it's not. It's equally impressive and like okay.
Like it's like you hear it and like
I'm impressed. I think that's really
cool.
I think that's awesome.
It's scary and sad all at the same time.
Yeah, it's kind of. I don't know if I'd lead off with it though. You know, like if you just meet. Well, actually, I can.
I don't know.
Hey, what do you
That's
think
if the conversation's fizzling out and you're trying to keep it alive, you pull that one out.
It's a death save.
Yeah. My go-to is the giraffe's tongue is half the length of its neck.
Really?
Yeah.
I love animal facts.
I don't
That's
have a
one
follow-up
I've
to that.
never-
That's
I've
the only
never
downside.
heard. I've never heard that animal fact before, and I'm an avid animal
Please
fact
double
guy.
check me on that.
Yeah, I know.
Because
Yeah, please. I was gonna
I've been
say
saying that
fact
for
check
like
that, 'cause that's
7-8 years now. Like that's been a hard truth in my
that's gonna
life.
be living rent free in my mind for like the next week. Like someone's gonna like I'm gonna be on the phone with my mom or something, and I'll be like, you know what? Actually, I need you to know this. A giraffe's tongue is half the length of its neck. That's fucking crazy.
Please tell it be true.
Yeah, is that true?
Reading through this right now.
Okay. We're on the Wikipedia.
Okay. the comprehensive encyclopedic compendium Wikipedia.
Dude, also talking about things that they like were get your thoughts, Marcus. Making us think that was like illegitimate was Wikipedia as like a resource, but it's like, why is it not legitimate?
I'll tell you what, it's more legitimate than like Facebook.
Yeah.
So
You have to do somewhat of a fact check on Wikipedia.
dude, I'll tell you what, man, I deleted Facebook off of my phone like maybe 2 months ago. Never been happier. It feels
good,
great.
man.
It feels great. I still have it on my I go on my computer I have the messenger app,
Yeah.
just because that's a good, easy way to communicate with everybody.
For
but
sure.
like otherwise, like it's a fucking waste of time.
It
And
is.
I just hit this point where I was like, there's no substance on here at all.
And
I just can't do it.
It's really, really easy to be toxic. And,
It's so easy. And so just like if you're in that
bad for your
situation,
health.
it's just like, why not remove yourself? So
Yeah.
like that was my thinking on it.
No, I do that. I do that fairly often. Just kind of purge all the social medias.
When did you first get a Facebook? Like when did you have a MySpace beforehand?
I did have a
you
MySpace.
This internal struggle that was like, what is gonna be it? Like, is it MySpace? Is it Facebook? Do I have to have both? Do I need to switch to one? Like, did you have that internal struggle?
I think I bailed on MySpace. I just kind of realized that it was fizzling out, and then
Isn't it a weird thought to be like, no, MySpace is for kids, but like we're like maybe in high school at that point, like.
I was just. It was freshman year of high school when I realized that MySpace was like kind of fizzling, and I don't even.
It's like around the same time that you're like, I can't possibly wear Aeropostale to school. That's lame. Like,
bro, hold on now. Aeropostale was the jam in my high school. Okay,
really?
It was Hollister,
Okay.
Aeropostale. It was
Where does American Eagle sit in there?
happy in between. Like
That sounds
Aeropostale.
right, yeah.
Aeropostale was the bottom end of if you had money. It was
I
like
completely agree.
Hollister was number
I
one.
think Abercrombie weirdly sat on top of Hollister.
Yeah, but we just didn't have an
But they're
Abercrombie.
the same company.
Yeah, we just had a
Like one,
Hollister
but it's just
in
like
our
on a
mall and not
different
an
coast.
Abercrombie. Did we get
That's so
fact checked?
so weird.
On AfricaFreak.com, which is a thing.
Sorry, what?
AfricaFreak.com. Great website.
On average, their tongues.
Why didn't I get that domain earlier?
They're 45.
What a great domain.
45 centimeters and 50 centimeters in length, which is 5 times longer than the human tongue. So not exactly.
Not
the length of their, they
But that's still pretty
still
fucking long.
tongues. Yeah.
Man,
Tall trees, yeah.
I am so
You've been-
sorry to all the
You've been
people.
rattling that off to
Dude,
people for
I don't-
years.
I don't know where I heard that from, but that has been like 100% fact in my life. And
Man, you're
I
gonna
would
have to call
say
people.
I would say it for the exact reaction that you gave me. That's what I
You're gonna
live
have to
for.
call people and correct that.
I know.
It's like if you
Oh.
found out you had an STD, it's like, oh man, this is not an easy conversation for me, but I need you to know that giraffes' tongues aren't actually as long as half of their neck. I'm sorry. You should get tested.
Maybe not as dramatic, but
Maybe not get tested. I'm still on the phone. Sorry, I didn't hang up when I did. Also, I in this modern age, I hang up the phone.
still,
like you might, even with
this
my
is still
iPhone,
the
I'm just
universal
like,
hang up.
"Ugh."
Like,
Yeah, which
this
shouldn't
just
make
isn't-
sense to any kid, right?
No, but I still think
I miss the satisfaction of flipping the phone closed.
I don't think there's. I've had this argument before.
Yeah.
Because I know you probably had one. What was more gratifying, the flip or the slide down?
Ooh, that's tough, man. I fucking loved my little Samsung slider bullshit, whatever thing it was.
Whatever it
which was
was.
so tiny. I think I still have it.
Yeah.
Where at the home I grew up, like in like one of these little like lock away bins that has like a lot of useless trinkets and shit. But I look back at it every time I come. I'm like, ooh, this is so cool.
I too have that.
Yeah,
bin.
that slider. That's just being able to go like slide. There's something about it was super satisfying.
I think it was the HP Envy. That was
Oh,
the one that,
cool.
I think that was the one that they had on Verizon.
Ooh.
I think
Do you
just
ever have
random.
friends who had the Juke?
I had some friends that had the Juke.
That like weird monstrosity of a phone that had a screen that was about literally this, like maybe two fingers, not even like it split the difference between like one finger and two fingers.
Yeah.
That's how wide the screen. Like that is an asinine idea in this day. I miss when like every company was like, we have to come up with the next cell phone.
Dude.
And so you just got weird shit like that. Like when the Juke came out, I was like, that's pretty cool.
Or the other one
14
where
years old, that's pretty cool.
they took the same mechanism from the BlackBerry, so where it flipped to the side, but the keypad was underneath. So like the screen, it just looked like a T. Like it just did that guy. Do you remember that one?
The T-Mobile Sidekick?
No, it wasn't a sidekick.
No, it wasn't a sidekick, but I know what you're talking about, where it kind of did the halfway and made the T. So you could kind of like do that, but you had your screen horizontal.
Like the screen, no. It was a monstrosity, just like you were saying. But like the phone was a touch screen straight up and down, and it had like the home screen, call, and end button. But then for you to get to the numbers,
Talking about this one?
the one on the left, yeah, what is that called?
What is it called?
It would.
It's got to have like some very, very specific name too. It's got to be like the Karate Chop, or it's not a Karate Chop, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Like they always name phones very way too specifically.
Back then, yeah.
Yeah, like we're talking about the Juke, which was like this jackknife of a phone. I think I think if you showed kids phones from like 2006 to 2010, they'd just be like, that must be from the future. There is no way we've even approached.
We haven't done that yet.
We haven't
Surely
done that
not.
yet.
It was just called the LG VX 9400. There was a special name.
That's very
9400.
Weird that we didn't remember that, right?
Yeah.
They should have gone with like the jackknife or something, or the hatchet. Can you imagine telling your friends like, oh, dude, I just got back from the Singular Wireless store and got myself a hatchet.
Shout out Singular.
LG hatchet. Yeah, shout out
LG
Singular,
hatchet.
Right? R.I.P. Pour one out.
Who bought them?
AT&T. Same with Alltel. AT&T bought them too.
That's right.
And HBO. AT&T also bought HBO and Time Warner, and probably the rights to my first 3 children soon enough.
Eventually,
They'll get there.
It'll be either
They're
them
coming.
or Neuralink
Or Trader Joe's.
or.
They're gonna take over, man.
Nah, man. HEB is gonna stay strong. You can't.
HEB is gonna be like that independent installation within Texas itself. It's like Texas won't let HEB go down, or Buc-ee's, and they shouldn't. Because like both of them are
oddly enough.
I tell people about Buc-ee's out here, and they look at me like I'm lying, just straight up like I'm telling them some sort of fantasy tale.
I still don't believe it.
It's like if you try and tell a kid who's never seen a giraffe or a unicorn that a giraffe is real and a unicorn isn't, because which one is more realistic? Like, is a horse with a horn Feasible? Absolutely. There's fucking fish that have
Yeah.
horns for some reason. Like
Yeah.
a narwhal, that's a weird animal. But like a giraffe, I would never believe you in a million years.
You know what's wild? I didn't know that narwhals actually use that spear to hunt with.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
What it just like
if you
it just
got
doesn't
like
even okay, like okay, I understand like they stab things with it, but like the
how do
idea
they get
of
it
how
out?
to get like you can't.
How
I don't understand how they
long,
eat.
How long is that? I guess it's a tooth. I think if I remember right, animal facts.
Evan.
How long is what?
The
How long is a
narwhal's like horn
We're putting
thing?
you.
Because like
we're putting you
depending
to
on
work
that,
this time, dog.
like depending on how long that horn is, I think it would really make a difference.
I think it's pretty lengthy,
I feel like it is.
and it's not like the swordfish where the end of it is like at its mouth. Like
No, it's like it's just
it's up here, bro. That's why I don't understand. It's like, how do you get your face?
It can grow as long as 10 feet.
oh my god,
Christ.
what?
10 feet?
It can grow as long as 10 feet. It's probably shorter. Average probably.
See, that's your new fact.
That's my new fact.
Fuck giraffes. Did you know a narwhal's horn can grow as long as 10 feet? Who knew?
Who knew?
This guy.
I
guy
do
knew.
now. All three of us know now, and everybody that listened to it will
Yeah,
also
dude, the
know
more
now.
you know.
Yeah.
Also, a housefly hums in the key of F. Just so you know.
Oh, big French horn guys. Big. Those houseflies are big into probably Tchaikovsky, if we're being honest. Maybe the fifth.
Maybe. They're just
Nice,
all
something
about that
light, nice and mellow.
equal temperament, man. They just want that nice
Yeah.
concert F.
Just give me concert F, man.
Dude, so speaking of
Concert F.
concert F, you had to study as a vocal major as well, right?
Yeah, so that was probably one of the most unique things about the degree, right? Is it was really a hybrid of several different degrees. So I took maybe a quarter to a third of like electrical engineer courses, including like physics and electronics, like 1 through 4, that kind of shit. And then just as many, I did like half of a music degree, half of like a performance degree.
Yeah.
But I got to kind of escape some of the really annoying classes, like I don't even know I can't remember the name. Starts with a C. You have to go to 1 billion concerts and then write something about it. And you know what I'm talking about? Convocation. Convocation. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't have to do that as an
Really?
SRT major. Yep. Didn't have to do it, which was awesome. And
How
then,
dare you, sir?
But I had to take I had to take 2 instruments, like a major and minor instrument. So I had to do like 2 semesters of piano, which is great because like I studied piano as a kid. So I was like, yeah, fuck this. I was like just playing all sorts of fun stuff while some kids were like, fucking scales. I can't 2 hands and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Fuck. Like didn't have to really worry about that, which is nice. And
Must
then
be nice.
I all through like my mom was a choir director. Is a choir director actually, and
shout out
has
to
worked
Mom.
all levels. Yeah, shout out Mama Deb, and so like I've been a singer since I was like 5.
Nice. Okay.
Did a couple of national choirs growing up, and kind of like traveled to sing with various people, and got to do like some of the regional choral director association things or music educator association conventions, things like that. And so like by the time I got to college, like I had been on the fence between like doing a performance degree or doing recording, and I was way more interested in recording because I had performed with people who I'd watched perform, and I was like, I will never love this the same way that they love this. So I would be doing myself a disservice if I pursued something like this. Yeah, which is a really big kind of revelation to have when you're 17. Like it's one thing to know what you want to do. It's a whole nother thing to know what you don't want to do, and they're equally as important.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate in that regard. But while I was at Texas State, I did 3 operas.
Really?
And then
Damn.
Yeah, I did like the Johnny Skiki, did Don Giovanni, and did like the parallel with Johnny Skiki, Buozo's Ghost, which ran like as a 2-act.
Damn,
so yeah, man, I can't believe I was able to find the time to do that either, because like all the while that I was doing, that I was also, you know, actively cutting albums and doing all the recording things. And I was an RA for a while too. So like just that kind of weird triple
job, basically.
Yeah, it was weird. But it was fun. But yeah, man, like it gives a lot of unique perspective on, like, I recently finished working with this performing arts academy out here, shooting and editing
Okay.
a whole like performance, because they weren't able to do like a physical performance this year. So instead, my neighbor is the choreographer for all of them, and she asked if I could help them out. And so we ended up it's broadcasting this Friday, doing like a show entirely of like digital video, right? So these kids got a chance to like go to the Village Studios in Santa Monica, which is a really, really nice facility that's pretty well known. Really beautiful. And like the just kind of high school kids, teenagers, they're like sing there. I recorded video there, and then shot on location for a couple videos and stuff. So we had, and then this whole performance, like an hour-long performance that we're going to broadcast via Zoom, is kind of like this. It's like, what do we do in this new modern landscape for these performances for kids? And so like I kind of built all that out. I don't know how I got talking about this either. I was
you know.
Oh, right. But I was gonna, yeah, okay, no, I got it. I'm gonna tie it all together, bringing it all back. In like shooting video with all these kids, like most of them, they're all excellent performers. But the nice thing was like speaking that same language and being a vocalist at one point, being able to read music, knowing exactly their cues and everything. It's one of the reasons I love to shoot music videos, is just because like if you understand musically what happens, then you can make better sense of it visually, right? And so like in talking to these kids, I was able to like ask them what I would normally be asked, or what I would contemplate in prepping for a performance. And a lot of them were really surprised, because you don't expect like a video guy to be asking those kinds of questions. But it turned, I think we got better performances that way. And they felt more comfortable, because they were like, okay, like he gets where I'm coming from, or he knows kind of like what I'm trying to do here, and he'll get the coverage to really exemplify that. And so having that kind of context is really, really unique and really cool. It's just like everyone should be a musician in some regard, in some way, just because of how much context and on a human level it gives you. It's really cool.
Yeah, dude. I dig all of that. So how did you, like, I understand that you're just not, like you said, you learn as you go and kind of forced to learn some things. Have you always been doing like the video stuff, or is that a recent endeavor?
So I started doing video professionally in 2014.
Okay.
I was working for Blue Rock Artist Ranch and Studio, which is out in like Wimberley, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty close to, like, outside of San Marcos. Mm-hmm. And I ended up getting a full-time position there, doing live shows, because we were shooting like live concerts every Tuesday and Thursday. On Tuesdays, we were doing like live in-session concerts to give people like a kind of look at what goes on inside the studio. Like we produced these videos of some decently well-known artists. I got to work with some really cool people then. Okay. But just like performing some songs, and we made like music videos out of them, like kind of in-studio music videos. And then we're able to, between songs, we're still live, and we had a full video screen up, and people who were tuned in could ask questions or like comment to the artists themselves. So we were like we were breaking down the wall between the performer and the audience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was really cool. And I kind of got my video chops from doing that, and doing some just like weird projects there. Like we had a guy come in from Ireland, just this random guy who just wanted to record like 3 songs. And so I like booked a crew for it, and then ran video, and we cut them kind of live, and then put it all together and made like a DVD or something. And so like I kind of learned video on the fly that way. I started off as like a camera op, just coming there every Thursday night
Okay.
And then it worked its way into like this summer job of doing all those like live streams and stuff because we were doing something experimental. And then I just from there just was able to add video to my repertoire. And so I started doing a lot more video just as it kind of came up. I did some like, you know, School of Music, everybody needs video at some point for something. So I did some like senior recitals, did some music videos when I was recording in the studio, like when I was mixing people, I'd offer to do video or whatever.
Oh,
just
nice.
To have.
Okay. Yeah.
And then like it really took off when I actually with Stephen Vogel, funny enough, he got me a job up in Lake Luzerne.
Oh, that's right.
Did you do that the year before?
I was
like
supposed to, and then they didn't have enough kids.
Shit.
I believe a percussionist, because I think Ziggy was out there too.
Oh yeah,
and Ziggy was the first guy,
right.
and I don't think they had enough kids to hire a second percussion dude.
That's what it was. I remember that. Yeah. And then the year that I was there, the summer that I was there, I think they just had a percussionist who was more local from Juilliard, who was a really cool guy. He had some really really cool tools too. I actually did a photo shoot for Swan Percussion.
Really?
Up there, yeah. Like it was unofficial, but I did get them to send a couple of like I was like going back and forth with another percussionist who was super close to Swan, and I got them to send some of their kind of auxiliary percussion from like shakers and eggs to like more boxed shakers, because you know like Swan has these really nice kind of natural wood shakers that give like a little bit more body than those egg shakers do. Yeah. So I got these kids out there in the woods just kind of using them. I probably have the pictures somewhere.
Nice, man.
I think I tried I don't know if I ever got them over to Swan, but like they turned out really well.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really funny. I completely forgot that I did that, but so I ran video for them the entire summer season for all the sessions that they have.
Okay.
And like going back to school after that, made like had like a DVD factory, so to speak, that I kind of like had this giant replicator, and I built the DVD out on Encore. Had no idea. So much of this stuff, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just learning on the fly, which is really like fake it till you make it for everybody. Like no one's ever going to call bullshit if it's something in tech like that, unless they already know what they're doing. And if they're asking you to do it, then they probably don't. So you can almost always get by with like, yeah, no, I know how to do that, and then learn it as you do it.
Preach.
Yeah, that's the way. If you want to get into something, that's the way. Like don't tell someone you don't know how to do something. Just say, dude, yeah, I can do that.
One of my biggest advice from being at Tech State is never turn down a gig, man.
No, never.
Unless you're already booked for something. Exactly.
More, yeah. Unless you've committed to something else, or you have something that pays more. Like just never turn down a gig. Even if you're like, I don't know if I want to do that. You do want to do it.
Just do it, man.
Even if it's a shitty gig, you're going to meet people who are also going through it, and then they might have something. Like it's just music industry. It's really about who you know, right? And you're not going to know people unless you get out there and meet them. So
you're not going to know people unless you know them.
Unless you know them, and the only way to do that is to like get out
do
there.
Things.
So, yeah. So like after that, I wasn't doing. I moved out here and started doing some like production, like very specific production.
Okay.
With, like location shooting with that startup company. Actually, we were doing a lot of. But the second week I was out here, we were shooting in Compton, and it was all like run and gun style.
Yeah.
And, I remember it really vividly because it was really funny. We were just shooting from the hip, right? So like we had some DVX 200s, I want to say.
Okay.
Which is like a Panasonic camera. Never buy that camera if you can avoid it. I had to take one to like Panasonic itself, like because their headquarters is out here.
Really?
I went into Panasonic and I was like, why is this camera shitty? Just because like the image was ghosting and giving like weird artifacts and stuff. And they were like, yeah, you know, you got to dial up the ISO pretty high if you want that to go away. And I was like, no, that's not you're no. Out of your mind. No, that's ridiculous. So anyway, but we were shooting with these DVX cameras, which kind of nice handheld from the hip, whatever. And we were in Compton, and in the time that we were in Compton shooting, because we were shooting weed content, so like everybody's just smoking blunts in the lawn. We were with ASAP Taiwai, who's big on like bike life, and like, they had some like ATVs, and they were doing like wheelies up and down the street.
Right on.
And I learned a couple of things that day. One, cops around that area don't give a shit if you're not getting into trouble. So like they were doing like wheelies and stuff, and like cops came by and they were like, "That's pretty fucking cool." I was like, the police are cool here. And then there was a stabbing like 3 houses down, and then like 3 fire trucks came through. We thought it was for us, but they just went right by us, even though like people were just smoking weed in the front lawn, and we were videotaping all of it with no permits. And they just all went to like this house where there was some sort of assault. I was like, okay, so this is California. Cool.
That's fun. That's great
it was
week
wild,
2.
Man. Yeah, it was wild. We were shooting with Black Jesus, if you're familiar, Slink Johnson.
Really?
He did the voice of Lamar in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
He is one of the most fun guys to hang out with.
That's wild.
Because he's just always on. He's so funny.
That was about to be my next question, was like, who is some of the like more well-known, bigger people that you've had the opportunity to work with?
Well, yeah. Slink is a lot of fun. We did some content with him and we made a show for him that didn't take off too hard, but was a lot of fun to shoot. It was probably my favorite that we did, called Get Loud with Slink Johnson. It was a good time. And then we made a brand, we made a full cannabis brand, partnering up with Shavo from System of a Down. And so I got to work. He's the bassist for System of a Down. So I got to work hand in hand with him on a lot of stuff, and got to hang out with him at his studio. I helped him do some like sound treatment in one of his studios, like up in Burbank. And so like I still text him every now and then just to see how he's doing.
Right on.
But he was good people. He's like those. I'll tell you what, man. Like people like that. Like he's really dialed in. Like when you think professional musician, you think kind of laid back, cool, and fun. He's all of those, but his mind works at like twice the velocity that mind can possibly work.
He's just on a different wavelength.
He's streaming ideas constantly. He's always wanting to learn more. Like if you show him something, he's like, okay, but how do I do that? Like it was really incredible. He's the nicest guy, but he's always looking to like learn new shit and figure out how to optimize stuff and make it better. He was a lot of fun. He was very cool.
Right on, man.
I'm trying to think who else. I managed. I worked with Feist when I first moved out here on one of her albums.
Okay.
Just doing some assistance with her producer, who was this really rad Frenchman named Renaud, I think. Sounds right. I don't know, but I was doing like 12-hour days every single day, like 7 days a week. And so I'd come home, and my roommate and I, we had no furniture when we moved out here. So like for the first probably 6 months, the living room was like my shitty TV from college, and like these 2 chairs that the landlord was like, well, I was gonna throw them out. Our first landlord was a total bitch. She was like, well, I was gonna throw them out, but I'll sell them to you for $50. I was like, that doesn't make sense, but okay. Just let me know when you throw them out, and I'll be there. But
and just post up by the garbage can, wait for her.
Yeah, right. Like, fucking twat. She sucked. But that's a whole nother thing. But we had no furniture, and I'd come home and we'd kind of like just like lie on the floor and like watch Arrested Development,
right on,
and like drink whiskey. You know, it was like super chill, simple times.
Simpler times, man. But
I would come home
grinding days, man.
Yeah, right. It's crazy. I'd come home from working with this French producer though, and I'd have like a little French accent, like as I was talking. So I'd kind of shift into this, just a little bit subtle. It's not very good right now, but like I'd have just like a tinge.
Yeah.
I really couldn't help it. It was just being so immersed. There's constantly.
I mean, if you're with them for 12 hours a day, it's
12 years a day. It was insane. Like you wouldn't even believe.
That's what it felt like. I'm sure.
I mean, it was like if you've seen Naruto with like Itachi's eyes or whatever, like the stabby thing where it's like 3 years in one day. It was like that every day, but French. Yeah, dude like French. Rolled his own cigarettes with like all of his own like tobacco and everything too. Yeah,
so
he was
just
cool.
Super French.
He was cool. Oh my God, he was like, I have my own studio in Paris. It's a humble place, and he showed me like pictures, and it was bigger than like Fire Station and everything. I was like, what do you mean humble, you motherfucker? Like that place is huge. You're crazy. You wild for this one.
Wild, bro. Okay.
So that one was cool. trying to think if there's any. I know there's other cool people. It's kind of a blur, man. It just goes by so fast.
I mean,
I've had
many
more like
gigs.
weird like run-ins. Like I accidentally ran into Reese Witherspoon at a sushi place and didn't connect the dots until like I'd gone back to my table and sat down, and I was like, that was
neat.
Huh. Yeah, so like things like that happen pretty
Gotcha.
frequently. Yeah. But,
I mean, LA, it's bound to happen.
Yeah, they just live here, man. It's so weird, but it's cool, but also like at a certain point you're like, it's kind of the way it is. Like Mookie Betts I found out recently, Mookie Betts from the player from the Dodgers, for listeners who may not be familiar,
Gotcha.
lives like in the neighborhood right next to us. So like we walk the dog probably past his house every day.
Well, damn.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Because like I
Okay.
was super psyched when we signed him. I was like, that's awesome, man. Turns out he moved like in the same neighborhood. So we both got great taste, clearly.
Yeah. So you might as well be playing for the Dodgers.
Yeah. Well, so funny thing about that.
What?
Well, okay. Yeah. I jog around this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Every now, I'm not going to pretend like it every day. No, I don't jog every day. Every now and then I jog and pretend like I jog more frequently than I do. Don't we all? And so I was out here, I think I was running with my dog, and I had my Dodgers hat on and sunglasses that were like tinted blue, and a van like went by. I was like, "What's up, Justin?" And like I actually do get that. Anytime I go to a Dodgers game, people look at me and they're like, do you know Justin Turner? I was like, why would I know Justin Turner? Just like, why would this
white with the beard, man?
Yeah, like why? But what's the correlation? That's crazy. So anyway, this van pulls up or goes by. He's like, "What's up, Justin?" I was like, "Hey," just cause like, fuck it, why not? Like they're gonna keep driving, right? They did.
Yeah.
No, they did a U-turn and they flipped around. And I was watching it all happen, and they kind of pulled up into like the in the middle of the road, right? You got like 3 lanes. You have one going this way, one going this way.
That
and then
turning
center
lane
for like turning. Yeah, the turning lane. And he kind of pulled into there, rolled the window down. He's like, "Justin?" And I was like, "Oh no. Like I'm not him. I'm just some guy."
I just get
like
confused.
As if I don't even know my name. I'm just like, I'm just some guy.
Just
and
another dude.
And he like whipped around again and got closer, and he was like, "Oh man, I thought you were Justin." He just kept saying Justin, and I thought that was weird.
As if he's on a first name basis.
Like, well, turns out it was
Christ.
it was Justin Turner's security guard,
Ha!
and he was like, "Dude, you look just like Justin." I was like, "Thanks." He was like, "No, man, no, this is so crazy. Do you mind if I take a picture of you and send it to him?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, sure." He's like, "Let me get your number too, just in case, like, if they ever do a movie or anything, like, I'll tell him he should reach out to you to be him in the movie." And I was like, "What the fuck, man?"
Now you're gonna be an actor.
So like, I cannot confirm for sure, but there's a possibility that Justin Turner got a picture of me from his security guard, just saying like, "Yo, doppelganger, bro," which is crazy. So
You might be in Justin Turner's phone.
Yeah, which is like, and like, he's not in my phone, so like,
not in your phone,
so it doesn't count, I think. But like,
I thought
that whole thing was super.
It might be more impressive for you to be in a famous person's phone without them being in your phone,
as opposed to like the other way around.
Well, not even the other way around, but just like, it's like, "Hey, can I take the selfie real quick? And here, let me send it to you," right? Like, so that way they both have it. But for you, it's like this other dude took a picture of you and it sent it to him.
He's very much got like his own version of the bat signal, because if he ever rang and was like, "I need you to star in my movie," I'd be like, "I guess I'm quitting what I'm doing.
I guess I'm an actor now.
I guess I'm doing it."
That's just one of those things that you know, being out
here. It was so funny.
Podunk, Texas, you forget that there's famous people.
It was wild. It was super wild. Yeah, it was fun.
So aside from the RA thing, as far as I've known, you've only ever really done gigs in your line of work. Is that a fair statement? Like, did you have like any jobs waiting, bartending, anything like that?
Not when I was in college. No. So like when I was in college, I had like back where I grew up in Harker Heights, Texas. Don't ever visit.
Hey, brother, it's down the block from me now, so
Oh
I
really?
got you.
Where
Yeah,
you
dude,
at
I'm
now?
I'm out here in Temple.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's so funny, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
Temple
so
is where we'd go for like homecoming and prom. Like if you wanted to go eat somewhere, which is a very sad statement.
Oh,
Once
that's
you kind
bleak.
of build your world out a little bit, and you're like, you went to Temple? It's like, yeah, it's the flagship BJ's, man. Weird,
Oh God.
That's scary.
weird flex.
Oh,
Very
God.
specific. They have a BJ's out here, and you know what I said when I went to that BJ's? Because of course I went to that BJ in Laguna
Of
Beach.
course.
I went to the BJ's in Laguna
Oh, my
Beach on a
God.
date with my girlfriend, and which by the way, like I like telling I love my girlfriend to death, but telling anyone in context like not my girlfriend just sounds so weak when you're an adult. There's something about like we've been dating for 4 years.
After like 24, it just sounds a little.
I feel like I have a ton of friends that we're in that like weird age where so many people are getting married or have like a fiance or a wife that it's just so funny to be with guys like that and just be like, yeah, my girlfriend. You just sound like you're 8 or 12. I don't know, like whatever age is appropriate for 8.
What's appropriate?
Jesus Christ.
That 8. You have
Don't hate the player,
that
hate
second
the game,
grade.
Man. You could have game. Second grade, you're starting to
Second
find
grade
your
girlfriends
feelings.
where it's like,
Yeah.
they're my girlfriend. Do you guys hold hands? No, gross. Do you guys
No,
kiss?
ew.
No, gross. It's like,
Ew.
so then what makes her your girlfriend? Because we said so.
Yeah,
All
like,
right.
what are you talking about? Well, get off my case, said the 8-year-old. Get off my case.
Leave me alone, Dad.
Yeah.
Stop bugging me.
Buzz off. Yeah, so I took her to the BJ's in Laguna Beach. Fancy, I know.
So
And
classy, baby.
there were so many other restaurants there.
Yeah, bro. We
And
got a
that was
whole
the
Olive
one,
Garden.
That was the one that we were like,
Oh, you're talking about in Laguna Beach. Gee, yeah, I'm mad at
yeah,
you for
no,
not going to a better restaurant.
oh, you'd think I would choose that, but I didn't. So we were there, and on the menu, it's like it on the like the front page of the menu, it's got the Temple location, and it's like our flagship location. I was like, yeah, I've been there. Like, it felt like this huge badge of pride. Meanwhile, the people who were working there, like,
I
fucking hate
ate
my life.
there.
Like,
I
yeah.
come from there.
our servers like, I just want to be on the beach right now. It was literally across from the beach, so they're just like,
Oh,
fucking
Jesus.
I hate all you people. Like they just kind of get that vibe from them. It was pretty funny.
I can't
Yeah,
believe this.
Temple's cooler than Harker Heights. What was I
Harker
saying
Heights
before
is-
that?
They're on the come up. Colleen is
Yeah, for the last 20 years.
slowly blowing up. There's some, actually, if you want to go get some food, you actually, unless you're getting like Asian, because we got 3-4 Asian spots out here and an Italian joint. But other than that, you got to go to Colleen, Harker Heights.
The Pluckers is in Harker Heights, yeah.
Exactly, bro.
There's
Oh
like
my
a whole
God.
row
Why
of
have we
restaurants.
not
that
gone to
would go
Pluckers? Have you been to
Yeah,
Pluckers?
go to
I
Pluckers,
have
for
been
Christ's
to Pluckers,
sakes.
so
It's
we
right
haven't gone
there.
Yeah.
Bro, we need to go to Pluckers.
Okay.
Yo, go to Pluckers, man. It's right there. It's so
Seriously.
close.
I haven't had
Get you
Pluckers
on
in.
190 or whatever the hell it's called now. It's called like I-27 or something.
I
right?
couldn't tell you, bro. The highway that goes to Colleen. That's
There you go. Formerly 190 is what I would call it.
That's we should let's plan to go to like Pluckers like next week, dude.
Okay.
You could hit like 3 places in one day. You go to like Pluckers, Tilted Kilt, I guess, if you want. I mean, you could probably skip that. And
I
then
don't
we
even know
could
if that one's
definitely
still
skip it.
open. Yeah.
Yeah, as I think about it, I'm like, there's no way that should be open, but soldiers will find a way to keep that open.
Bro,
It's still open.
is it really? Huh. I stand corrected.
Oh, is it still open?
Yeah.
Soldiers will find a way to keep
Soldiers
it
will
open.
find a
Tell
way,
you
bro.
what. I had friends in high school, like female friends who worked there, and I was like,
That's not
you're
good.
a high schooler, man. That's not okay. That's
You're gonna get proposed to, man.
Texas is like, this is fine. Like,
It's not, but okay. Well, it's
oof.
the same thing. There was an Ojos Locos, which is just the Mexican variation on
Sounds
those.
crazy.
Yeah, it's the Mexican variation on those fun restaurants.
Yeah,
Um,
crazy eyes.
And I had a couple friends that were seniors that started waiting there, and I was like, I don't know if that might not be the best look.
Yo, someone should talk to the manager.
Yeah. It's a
Ugh.
little dicey.
Oh, super dicey. Super
Um,
dicey. Um,
but yeah, going back to the thing, I'm curious. I'm curious to see because that was not the case for me, right? Like I I taught since my sophomore year of college, but I wasn't making enough money by teaching to,
yeah.
fund life. So I was having to intermingle it with waiting, bartending, and all that stuff. So what was it
Yeah.
like getting to focus on your main gig? And do you feel like you lost out on anything by not doing those kind of nonsense outlets, working at the outlets or bartending as we did in San Marcos?
So in I was an RA from my sophomore year to like the middle of my junior year.
Okay.
So about half of college ish.
Just shy.
And yeah, and through that time, I mean, it's kind of a weird job in that like it sounds like a great gig, but they give you just a little something. They give you like $50 every 2 weeks, and then your housing is paid for, which is nice, but the amount of time that you actually spend working is disproportionate. So it kind of fucks you up
Yeah,
if you are only an RA and only have that experience for like future jobs and like
for
what your
sure.
expectations are and how available you should make yourself and things like that. Um, but through that time, I still held a gig. I had a really great manager at an Old Navy that I worked at through high school who was like, listen, like anytime you're home from college, like we'll give you hours, just like let us know. And so
Damn.
like in
Okay.
anytime we have like holiday break or summer or whatever, if I was down or up back home, then I would be working retail. And
Okay.
retail is a lot of fun because I feel like you learn a good amount there. Not as much as you
Yeah.
learn in like food service
I mean, you
or
learn
bartending, but you
you
do pick
learn
up those
people
kind of
skills.
skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you learn like what it's like to work with difficult people, and I mean you learn that as an RA too because it's entirely a customer service job. But like,
Yeah.
I do wish I would have done something like I always wanted to be like a bar back, not the bar back, but like the experience of going from like bar back to bartender, just
Yeah.
because I feel like you learn so much good shit and get to talk to so many interesting
Mhm.
people. And then same thing, I'm not mad that I didn't work in food service, but I also wish I had at least some semblance of the experience, so that way I could empathize with people who have that experience, who like can
Yeah.
talk through it and be like, man, this sucked, or this was great, or like, you know what it's like to be like this with the like it gives you a different appreciation for like when you do go to those places. Like I know whenever I go to a retail store, which is rare, especially now, but anytime I go to a retail store, like I'm not afraid to ask for help or to talk to people there or
Yeah.
like, and like
Yeah.
I don't just like go through clothes and just like because it's a total asshole
Try
thing to do.
throwing things off to
I
the
just throw
side.
shit
Yeah.
everywhere, pull things off the rack, like whatever. um but and then like little things, like if I'm in the changing room, like I don't refold the clothes because I know that they're gonna have to fold them in a specific way anyway, and I don't know which way
Yeah.
that is. So I just leave them neat so that way they can get them or bring them out to them. You know, it's like
For
small
sure.
things like that. Where like if you've worked in food service, then you know like push all of your dishes to the end of the table
Yeah.
and like kind of stack. Like that's a huge help. You know, like little things like that. Um, I feel I kind of lost out on, but I also wasn't, because I wasn't really making a ton of money, but I was almost like balancing uh like financials in college. So like I didn't have
Yeah.
much money to do stuff, but I also was good on like
Didn't have to
tuition
worry
and
about paying for other
yeah, so it
things.
was like this weird like kind of like really living like a college kid
Yeah.
kind of
Just
thing.
just kind of living.
Yeah, but I mean I was also fortunate enough that I was hustling and trying to find people to record for money.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
for like really small amounts of money, but I was also, a student working on my craft and everything. So I probably cut like I graduated a semester early, and in the time that I was able to record, which would have been like sophomore year through senior first semester, so like 5 semesters. In that time, I probably cut. I worked with like 30 artists,
Jesus.
I'd
Really?
say. Yeah, like I've got a ton of hard drives of just like material of just stuff that I worked on with people.
Damn,
ranging
son.
from like I did like reggae stuff and like rock and indie rock to like obviously classical and like big choirs and jazz bands, jazz ensembles, small jazz,
Okay.
country. Like I did a lot of, and I'm glad that I did because it gave me a lot of perspective and just like working with lots of different people and getting a lot of material done, and kind of like every genre gives you something to work with in another genre. Like I really like the way that these country guitars sound. How do I incorporate that into a hard rock song? Like things like that. But yeah, I'd say to answer your question, yeah, it's weird not having that kind of experience as you get older, because I think it really comes back to like an appreciation for the people who do work in those jobs, whether they're trying, and like out here especially, like the saying I always love is like everyone is someone in LA.
Yeah.
Which I think is a song. Even I actually know it. I don't
so.
just think it's a song. I know it's a song. I think it's a song. No, I know it's one. But like pretty much anyone in a service position out here does like 3 other things at least. And like I've met some of the most impressive animators I've worked with were guys who were drawing at Trader Joe's on the windows, making like cool window art. Yeah. Like incredible graphic designers who were like just working in Trader Joe's doing that. Because like that's what you have to do. Like it's fucking expensive out here.
You just gotta find just different little side gigs, man, until you find the one that pays the bills full time.
Yeah, man, it's wild. It's really wild.
Well, you touched on it ever so briefly, man, but what's it been like out in LA for the past 7 months, man?
Oh, it's been
5 months? How long has this been going on?
It's been
5?
Fuck.
Yeah, it's been 5 months, man. Those inside 3 months did not feel like yeah, April, May, June did not exist.
It's been still inside for us. It's been like there was a brief moment in time where, and I think things are still kind of slightly opened up, but like they re-shut down pretty fast here. Like it's between all the fires in California and the quarantines and everything, like we haven't really left the house much at all. Really just to like get groceries, and that's pretty much it. Like there's some like it's very strange, and it's going to be like this for like the foreseeable future too, because like it's when you have such a big population in such a condensed area, there's no good way to open it up unless it's completely controlled, right? So so like it's been weird, and like as someone who works in production, it's been especially weird because like everything production wise stopped. Yeah. Because it's all close quarters and there's no getting around it. So like in the time that we've been in quarantine, I've had to find new ways, like this performing arts school I mentioned earlier, doing like all digital performance. I've done a few short films that have been like very centered around like Zoom and shooting on Zoom, and then making that into like a horror thing. Yeah, like we entered in a couple like film festivals, and there's a ton of people who are doing like these new kind of like quarantine stories that you're able to tell through the lens of like the Zoom structure.
Damn, that's impressive.
So it's cool. It's impressive how people have adapted, and I think it's not dissimilar to like what I imagine you're having to go through in teaching. It's just like all of a sudden you're having to adapt to being like a modern teacher, like a teacher in the modern world. And for music especially, that has such insane implications because like no one has the answers. Yeah. No one knows a good way to do it because we don't have technology to get everybody in sync on video musically. That's not a thing. We do, but like ISDN lines and everything are not something that is easily accessible by consumers, right? So so it's like people are having to think, and it's been a while. And so I just it's weird, but it's also just kind of like this new reality. And so just trying to adapt to that and trying to find solutions and be solution oriented has probably been the key. And so like a lot of the work that I've been getting lately, because I've still had to find gigs and everything, I can't just live. I've been on unemployment, and thankfully it's been pretty decent up to this point, but like still having to find gigs, like it's been interesting. And I'm doing a lot more like virtual stuff, and like I've done some teaching with kids virtually too, with just like getting them to like shoot video for me and
Right
kind of
on.
explain and walk them through
Yeah.
stuff like that. So like it's a trip, man. It sucks because you really want to be on sets with everyone doing
Yeah.
cool stuff, but like, what can you do?
Yeah. When do you think, is there any end in sight for y'all? Anything?
No,
Damn, dude.
it's like it's gonna be like this at least till like mid 2021.
Yeah.
It's not because there's no real steps right now to making it better. And so in my mind, it's like I've been like I've shifted my kind of what I actually want to do, and I'm doing more like producing now.
Okay.
And so in doing that, like I'm making calls like 5 times a day, 5 to 10 times a day, unique calls to people, checking in on like projects and like what's going on, moving the ball forward on things. And that's everything from like producing like content and music to like producing like new companies and new ideas and like new podcasts, new vehicles for business, things like that. And so like it's really a hustle in itself.
Yeah,
It's
man.
like, you kind of just have to synthesize new revenue streams based on need and leverage your skills against that. And so like that's what I found has been like key out here, especially during this time, is you basically have to convince somebody that they need you in some way, which is
that's hard.
It's challenging, but
yeah.
it's like this own like kind of addictive thing in itself, right?
Yeah. So did you have that personality to do that already, or have you had to learn that personality?
I'd say like half and half. I think the whole reason I got into recording was because I view myself as a pretty good musician, but I'm also savvy enough to know good musicians when I see them or when I work with them. And I believe everyone's a good musician in their own right. So it's more, my drive has always been like, how do I get the best product from this musician? How do I, through a mixture of coaching and then letting them do their own thing and discover on their own, like how do I foster better musicianship through preservation of and synthesis of new music, right?
Okay.
And so that's always been kind of my mission through school, working with musicians, and then in video working with both like editors, actors, actresses, all that stuff. And like you get some of that as like a director, and you get a lot of it as a producer. But like it all comes back to that human element of like how do I get the most out of this person? How do I get the best product so that way they feel really proud of it? Because like they're, a good musician will perform well, but a good musician who believes in themselves will perform great, right? So like how do we make that happen? So that's always kind of been my mentality, which has worked itself into this next step of like, okay, well then how do I use that same principle and build on it to say like how do I push this company forward, or this band forward, or this project forward in a way that makes sense? And a lot of it is just like, so much of it is just doing work that other people don't think to do, which is like keeping things on time and setting deadlines, and then holding people accountable. But
accountability is wild, man.
Yeah, just holding people accountable, but not being an asshole about it, but being stern when you have to be. Like just those kind of skills, having those kind of people skills to be able to talk to someone and be like, I need you to get this done.
Yeah.
Because or being able to say, I need this done yesterday, or saying like, I need this done tomorrow, when in reality you can probably get it in like 3 days, but knowing that they're going to be late. Yeah. So like it's forecasting people and working with them in a way to it's like conducting, right?
Yeah.
And then conducting is just organic mixing. It's the same shit. Like a conductor is doing the same shit I do behind the board. They're just doing it in real time. It's all the same.
Organic mixing. I like that.
Yeah, that's a Jason Gallardo original. I stole that from him. He was an SRT.
Jason Gallardo. Oh man, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's a very good dude. He teaches North Austin, I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
I reached out to him recently to catch up. He's really good people.
I enjoyed him.
He's a smart guy.
I was trying to rack my brain when we first started talking of all the SRT majors that I remembered, and the only people the one that I was friends with, and the only people that I could remember was you and Laura Villalobos.
Oh yeah,
Remember
Laura's the bomb, and she like
Dude.
and like that's another example. Like she's a fucking awesome DJ. Like
Yeah,
you
killing
kind
it
of
as a DJ.
take what you learn in the program and you make it your own. It's so weird.
And then last time I checked, I don't know if it probably hasn't been too much going on recent, but she was I believe the main. She ran the board for the Fairmont, the massive hotel. I don't know if you've been to Austin.
That sounds right. Yeah,
4 years.
I think I saw something recently.
Yeah, just this massive hotel where she runs the sound for the main ballroom. So
yeah, that's so sick. That's a good gig. Yeah, she's awesome. She's got good ears.
Yeah, dude. Shout out Laura Villalobos, man. If anybody's looking for anything DJ Helios, I know
DJ
she's
Helios, man. She's the shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer here, dog, but last question would be, you said you're getting into this production thing, but is that the end goal, or is there something bigger than that?
Well, it's weird, man. I don't like ever thinking of like end goals. I've always been someone who's like, I have difficulty setting long-term. Well, that's not necessarily true. I don't like thinking of like, I don't ever want to like land.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like
I don't
have any kind of, I don't have any ambitions that are like, I want to do this, and once I've gotten there, I've made it. It's constantly like, it's more like, okay, well, if I can do this, like if I can really kill it as a production coordinator, then why can't I be a production manager? Okay, if I understand this, then why I did like production finance for a while and like got really good at like Microsoft Excel for some reason. And then I was like, well, okay, if I can do this, like then maybe I can learn about like the legal side of it all. So for a while I was working with our lawyer on like legal documents and like on like equity distribution in like a startup company and how all of that works and like how you get funded and everything like that. And I was like, okay, cool. So like if I understand that, how that works with finance and how that works with production and how all of them come together to make that happen, and like who's accountable on this side, and like how do I communicate with the business guys, how do I communicate with account management, it's always what's next, right?
Yeah.
And not in like a huge pivot way, more in like a, how do I build on the skills that I already have so I can leverage those along with what I've already learned. And so like I always view new ventures as like, okay, that's what I want to hit and that's where I want to be and that's where I want to get. And then as I start to get there, I'll start to see new things that are like, okay, I like this or I don't like this, but what do I do to get out of it? Or how do I build on that to make it more interesting for me? Because like I thrive on controlled chaos.
I feel you on that. I'm very much in the same boat.
Die in like this like in like a rut or in like this kind of like
calm ambiguity.
Ooh, yeah, that's the one. In calm ambiguity, I die in calm ambiguity. God, you poet, you. Goodness gracious, put it on my tombstone.
Wizard
Jesus
with
Christ,
the words when I want to be. That I mean, I've been in the same boat, man. I've not, when we first got to that quarantine, I've not managed it well because I teach at 4 schools, teach a group down in San Antonio. I have 7 ensembles that I run. It's like I need to be doing stuff.
And like at the beginning of the year, I like from January to March, I was at a new gig. And I was building an app, right? I was building like an OTT app from the ground up. So we did all the programming and everything for an app that would be on mobile, so like iPhone and Android, but also on like Roku TV, Apple TV, and Android TV, and like building the infrastructure out for that. And so I was working like what felt like constantly to get this shit off the ground. And then we finished the app like late February-ish and launched around that time too. And then I got laid off on like March 15th or so. And so went from like this huge high octane working all the time to like, now what?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was super weird, man. And like I had to, this is my cat.
What
pajamas.
Up, cat?
Yeah. He's the cat, pajamas. Say hi, buddy. Look at, say hi. Yeah, he was a little garbage kitten that we found. My girlfriend is a friend of the animals, and he's showing off his butt.
Yep.
He was in I think a wheel well in a car, I
Oh
think.
wow.
And she rescued him and brought him home. And I came home from a hockey game, and I was like, "What's this?" And like,
This is our new cat.
Yeah. Well, she was really sweet and was like, "Yeah, it's a cat. You know, like we rescued him, and you know, I just want to make sure he finds a good home, and maybe that's us." And I was like, we'll see about that." And then didn't name him for a month, so that way we wouldn't get attached to him.
And here you are.
Then, yeah, and he's the bomb. He was like 3 weeks old, so our dog raised him.
Dang.
So he's really more like a dog than a cat.
Yeah. Okay.
He's super chill.
Man.
But yeah, I've got lightning round questions for you if we still have time. Are we doing okay on time, Evan? We doing all right on time?
Yeah, we're doing fine on time.
Perfect. Yeah, man.
Killing
Go for it,
yeah.
big dog.
So okay, here we go. Lightning round. Best Christmas movies.
Ooh, Elf.
Give me three.
Elf for sure.
Elf is up there. Elf, I watch every time.
For the bad of it, Tim Arnold's Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, it's
Tim
so
Allen.
weird, right?
Excuse me.
Arnold.
My bad. Whatever, man.
Alternate universe Santa Claus. Yeah, I got you.
Tim Allen, and then
yeah, that's a weird movie.
It was
Nobody
wholesome.
talks about it.
It was wholesome.
Yeah, it was wholesome. It's something about it.
2 and 3 were terrible, but the first one was really.
I watch all three every season.
Then the last one. Oof. A Christmas Carol, bro. Come on.
You're not gonna put Die Hard in there?
Dude, I refuse to acknowledge it.
Dude, Die Hard is my Christmas movie of choice. I've got like the edition that has like the decorations on the box and everything.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's that one, and I think Nightmare Before Christmas bridges like this weird gap of like, is it a Halloween movie? Is it a Christmas movie?
That's
I don't
true.
know. I saw Nightmare Before Christmas live at the Hollywood Bowl, and Danny Elfman was putting on. It was funny. The ticket says Danny Elfman presents The Nightmare Before Christmas, which sounds kind of weird, and you don't think about it until you're in the middle of the show and you're like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot of Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he did all the music and stuff. That's great. But like they did something really cool where they projected it and then had all the music live. So all the original performers that they could get, which was probably 90% of them, like Catherine O'Hara was there, Greg Proops, obviously Danny Elfman.
Damn.
That's all
badass.
performed everything live in real time. It was really cool. And at the end, as everybody was leaving, because the movie's over, so why would you stay? Danny Elfman, like 5 minutes after the show, was like, "Oh, we got an encore for you guys since you're still here." And everybody, as they're leaving, is like, "Okay, I guess we'll stay." And
as you already kind of stood up and started.
Yeah, kind of started
we'll
walking, but then like, I guess we'll wait. And he played Dead Man's Party for 20 minutes with like the good. He had his original guitarist from Oingo Boingo, but then everybody else was like just some guys he knew. It was like the bassist from No Doubt. He was like, "Hey, we got the bassist from No Doubt." What the fuck is he doing here?
Why is he here?
Yeah, and then like two drummers that were like I have no idea who they were, but they were all just like, "We're friends of Danny," and so that was a wild Halloween.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which is pretty cool, but yeah, that's a tough one. Here's another one. Why is nighttime driving so therapeutic? These are all just thoughts I wrote before that I had to discuss with you because I just had to. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when it's kind of cathartic.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, especially when you're able to go like a casual 80, like on the tollway. You're headed down to San Marcos from Temple, and you're like, I fucking hate traffic. Then you go on the toll.
I think it's because I've just. When it's dark outside, I think it's that hunter-gatherer part of your brain where when it's dark outside, you think that you're supposed to be asleep. So when you're supposed to be asleep, you're more in a more calm state. And then when you add that on top of the drone of the car engine and the wheels on the pavement, it just creates this much more relaxed setting. And plus especially if you're on the tollway when there's not a lot of overhead light. So all you are worried about is just the 20 feet in front of you or what have you. You know what I mean? It just
What's your music of choice when you're nighttime driving? Like what's an artist that you'll put on? Like if you were driving tonight, like what artist would you put on? There's no wrong answer.
I've been in this Thundercat mood a lot lately.
Love me some Thundercat.
Yeah,
do a little bit of Fly Low too. You should check out Tech Loon.
Tech Loon?
Yeah, TEK.LUN. Like he's got some like kind of 0908 Flying Lotus type shit.
Okay.
It's got like that kind of Adult Swim in between the show vibe.
Oh, dude, right on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll love them. I've been doing like Disclosure lately. Has been fun as far as like nighttime driving goes.
Right on.
It's kind of got this. It's just fun. Anyway, now I'm like going through like cue cards. These like.
Yeah, you're good, man. You're good.
Yeah. Some of these I just like are off the cuff, so I don't even remember why I put them. So I put the Quarantines. That's pretty much it. But then put underneath it, not a religious show, like not the Quran teens, not to be confused.
Not to be confused with that.
Completely different.
Thank you for specifying.
Yeah. So the Quarantines, which like I've got a little brother who's like 10.
Okay.
So I guess he can be considered someone who's like the quarantine. Well, I don't know. Like, do you consider what generation is the Quarantines? Is it people who were born during the pandemic, like born into it, right? Or is it kids who are in their adolescence having to go through this weird stage where like life is now completely different?
I think it's definitely the latter.
I think the latter. Yeah,
I think it is too.
Yeah.
I think it's people who are actually affected by it, and I like the idea of it, like kids who are having to graduate high school and don't get the experience of having like a graduation party, or having like prom. Like that's fucking mad. That's wild.
It's
easy to look back on and be like, yeah, but well, prom was whatever. But like, no, it's
when you're there,
still,
it's mad important. And I got to talk to two of my former students a couple episodes back, and they were just like, graduation has been this pedestal thing for the past 13 years of my life.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, meh, here's a diploma, I guess. You didn't really finish out the last year, but we'll count it. It's like, so it's
it's kind of, it's very deflating, I think.
Yes. I think deflating is a great way of putting it. Just
super bizarre. Like that's, what do you do?
It's
been like such a pain.
It's been a bleak time period for a lot of my students. Oh God, my mic's about to fall off. Well, we're gonna not touch it. But yeah, it's just been tough for all those kids.
Yeah. I mean, I really feel for them. I'm hoping, and like especially now at this crossroads of like starting college, like, do you go? I feel like if I were still in college, I'd be like, I'm just gonna say fuck it this semester because I'm not like, I just don't see the value in.
It's the case for a lot of the kids. I
don't see the value in spending money on an education where I can't go in and use the facilities or anything. You know, like what's the fucking? I can get just as much information on YouTube. Honestly,
I had a kid audition and make it into Berkeley, and he was all squared away to go out there. Then everything shut down, and now he's at the local college because he's like, bro, it's gonna be online.
Dude, I feel that, man.
I'm not trying to pay Berkeley prices.
Fuck that.
Be online.
No, get those basics out of Temple
exactly,
College, dude.
So
fuck that.
He's just big chilling out here. So I think that's the
smart move. That's a real smart move. Yeah. Because Berkeley's still gonna fucking be there.
Yeah, man.
Professors aren't though. Like what are we talking about? All right, lightning round. Next, what your instrument says about you. So I'm talking instrument stereotypes. When you are talking, can you identify someone's instrument by talking to them? I'm talking like music parties that we've all been to, Evan included. I want Evan's answer too. Is like when you're talking to someone at a party, can you identify when you don't know them what instrument they play?
Heck yeah.
100% I can. Yeah.
Isn't that fucking weird?
It's very strange. It doesn't.
They have personalities.
They just have personalities, man.
Yeah. And like my stepsister is a flautist, and I could have told you that the moment I met her because she's a bitch. So like, yeah. but I say that out of love because she gets shit done. Like bitches get things done. Like
That's real. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super real. Yeah, and she's like, she's a professional. Like that's what she does.
I'll put myself in that category. Shoot, I put myself in that category because I was my first instrument was flute, and then I
Nice,
flipped
yeah.
over to percussion.
And you're kind of a bitch. So
And
like,
I'm kind of
there
a
you go.
bitch. It
And
is what it
and
is,
that's
man.
not a bad thing. Like that
I
is
get
not
shit
a negative
done.
connotation. Like, unless they're a bitch, and then it's like,
Unless, you know, then you're just a garbage human being.
And the question
okay.
is,
So then
are
I'm
you born-
building off that. Then
Hold up.
what
Evan,
is yeah.
The question is, are you born into it, or do you grow into that?
Ooh.
I don't know, but I feel like middle school band directors could be psychics, and you wouldn't be able to tell them apart because I think so much of the time these middle school band directors, well, really good ones, and you know what I'm talking about. You know, like your colleagues who are really good in middle school.
Yeah.
Unless you teach middle school, in which case I assume that you are a really good middle school
We
band
both
director.
teach middle school, yes. So.
Yeah, and I have no doubt that both of you are very good at that because, you know, I just know enough about you guys to know that you're great teachers. But
thanks, big dog.
Like they're magicians, right? Because you're looking at these kids and you're like, you're a trumpet player.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
So like
it's a strange power.
Are you born into it? That's a great question. Are you born into it, or is it something that you get, like you just started picking it up, like you picked it up because your teacher was like, you should play this, and so you just always have? Like,
I think it's like it might be like this secret power that only gets unlocked if you go to that 5th grade audition night.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, if you don't show up to that just part of you is just like locked away in a chamber, and you might morph into that personality, but you wouldn't do it. You're not going to go 100% into it because you didn't get surrounded by kids with that same personality.
Yeah.
Of that
free
instrument.
idea, by the way, from the Maxwell Carnage Idea Factory. For middle school band directors, how come you don't have sorting hats? Do the Harry Potter sorting hat and like throw it on a kid's head, and it's like, yes, a little aggressive but fun. Brass. Or like, yes, can't sit still. Percussion, like things like that.
That's
how fun would that be? Kids would fucking love that shit. I'm here all week. Okay, next topic: home bartending.
Yes. Okay.
Quarantine's crazy because like you can't go to bars, right? So what recipes do you recommend to the home bartender who's looking to impress but also have it taste good? Well, I've got 3. I want to know your 3.
Okay. I am as well documented former bartender.
Oh yeah.
As well as avid bourbon connoisseur.
I have that a couple down. It was actually bourbon, and then I was like, no, I should make this more broad.
You got to have an old fashioned down.
That's one of mine too.
You have to have an old fashioned down, and
absolutely,
your old fashioned is nullified if you muddle an entire orange slice in the cup.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
It does not count.
No, that's fucking insane. I use orange bitters, and I use zest from an orange, and then like I like get just a small bit and kind of do like the
a little aromatic. Yep, that's it.
And then I rub the
peel?
The rim. I rub the peel on the rim, and then drop it in.
You all those steps are correct for a proper old fashioned. Do you use simple syrup or sugar cube?
Nah, bitch, I use a sugar cube.
All right, I just have to
throw it in there and muddle it.
Again, I have to make sure, because
unless I've made simple syrup myself with like doing it, you know, like in
actually
the pan
making it on a pan.
Like you have to actually make it, otherwise it doesn't count.
Okay. And then for the person that wants to try to get into bourbon, but is a little hesitant, get you a ruck smash. Mad simple, because all it is fruit, honey.
Was that ruck smash?
Ruck, RUCK smash.
Okay, and what's in that?
So it's either raspberries, blueberries, or What's the other one? What's the other small fruit? Blackberries.
Berries? Oh, blackberries.
Blackberries,
Okay.
yeah. So one of those three, put a
Okay.
handful, throw it in the bottom of a glass,
Mhm.
about a teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of honey. You muddle that up, get it all nice and loose. Throw your 2 ounces of preferred bourbon.
Yeah.
I prefer TX whiskey.
Dude, I can't get that out here. It's
Oh.
probably my favorite
Dude,
when I'm in Texas. It's so good.
do you want me to send you a bottle?
Yeah, but I'll need to find something that's unique in California and send it to you.
Please do.
Got to do an
I
exchange.
will take a tradesies.
That's perfect. Yeah.
You throw 2 ounces of that in there. You throw some ice in there. You do a little splash of what is this called? Sparkling water.
Yeah. 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 A little
Stir it
bit,
up.
little bit of spicy water, right?
It is, delicious.
Nice.
Dog.
That's 2. So what's number 3?
Margarita.
Every time. It's so good.
Every time. You got
On the rocks? On the rocks or frozen?
Always on the rocks.
My man.
Always on the rocks. Unless
Unless it's hot as balls outside.
And then it just feels right.
That's
It
true.
feels right. It feels right to have the frozen one. What about
that's
you?
another thing out here that people can't get right. People suck at margaritas out here. It's amazing.
That's so
Amazing.
disappointing.
Yeah,
So
whereas
disappointing.
like when we were in San Marcos, I was hunting down the best margarita, and it's the best adventure.
I think those 3 drinks, even if I told you how to make it and what to make and of what to use, I don't think anybody can make those three drinks better than me. I stand by that statement. Stand by.
I love that, dude. Next time I'm in Texas, we're gonna kick it with that.
I will.
That just sounds like fun.
I am probably 100% certain that I will be making drinks for Steven's wedding, either at the wedding or the day before.
One way or another.
One way or the other. I will be making some cocktails. What's your 3?
My 3, old fashioned for sure.
Yep.
That's just like a staple. A Manhattan.
It's between the Ruck Smash and the Manhattan for me.
Funny. Yeah, it was funny because when you said Ruck Smash, I was like, if I were to do a Ruck Smash type, I would do a Manhattan just because I like the balance of like the bourbon with the sweet vermouth in there. And if you can get it right, and it just gets you where you want to go, right? You need like
good.
2 or 3 of them, and it's like I feel great.
Oh yeah.
And then vodka Mio. You're gonna love this shit. So
Mio,
oh yeah. So if you're ever looking to impress, if you're looking to ball on a budget,
okay,
get yourself some Tito's,
okay,
get yourself some sparkling water, and get yourself some Mio, and it will go a very long way. Because you do a shot or a double shot, whatever your fancy is.
If you're feeling
I'd say double.
saucy,
yeah, I'd say double. Do like just the standard glass, right? Like a whiskey glass. I use a big cube of ice just because I like how it melts slower.
Yep.
Do one squirt of Mio on top, just like a healthy like on top, and then do the double shot of vodka over top, or pony shot, whatever you want, and then top it with sparkling water.
Damn.
Doesn't even taste
Have you
like
ever
vodka.
heard of this?
I'm not. That sounds good.
That sounds very much up your alley.
Yeah, if you're feeling bold, Mio is strong enough that if you drink straight vodka and just put Mio into it, just do like probably twice as much as you would do in water.
Yeah.
Can't taste it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Life hacks
it's a
with Carney.
Great way to get fucked up. Yeah. Great way to get fucked up. You put that in a
for
water
all the
bottle and
students.
you're like, this is so good.
For all students that may be listening, do not drink until you're 21. It is bad for you, and it is illegal. Drink responsibly.
That's right, kids. The more you know.
Got to get that stamp out there because, still got to be responsible sometimes.
All right, next, the rejuvenating properties of nature. I wrote that down. I don't know why.
Bro,
being inside is crazy, but getting outside,
it is garbage.
I've never realized how much I needed fresh air.
It's so important.
Until like being stuck inside for months at a time. And then being like, we go on hikes around California, which is a lot of fun. And just being out in the wilderness and that kind of fresh air. Oh,
yep. I got to go to the beach.
Why do you think it's so rejuvenating?
I'm gonna go back to that hunter-gatherer thing, man. It's part of you.
I think that's a great point.
It's part of you. Like you need to feel nature, and you need to feel air against your body. That's not machine made, And you need to like, and even more importantly, I think you need to do it without shoes on, man. Feel the earth.
Ooh, I like that.
Like I'm a water guy. Like take me to a beach. I could sit.
It sounds like you're trying to date me. It's like,
dude.
No, I'm a water guy. So what's your drink of choice? I'm a water guy.
I'm a water guy. No, man, but I remember I was this girl took me to the Greenbelt in Austin, and I sat looking with no headphones. I wasn't talking to her. It's kind of bad, but whatever.
She sounds interesting.
She was really interesting, but
not as cool as that.
Not as cool as just watching the river flow, man. I sat there for 2 hours not talking.
Damn.
And just sitting on the rock, shoes off, laying there, getting some sunshine, listening to the brook. It's just.
Oh, her name was Brooke?
No. Quick with it. I appreciate it.
All right, next up, how much wall art should your apartment have?
No more than 2 things per wall. Can't take up more than a third.
Okay. Of like total wall space.
Total wall space.
Yeah, I resonate
or
with that.
It's the entire thing.
Yeah, I hear that. Have you ever gone into someone's apartment and been like, they just have too much shit on the walls? Like, has that ever happened though? I feel like I don't know if that's happened.
Kelsey, our friend, super white girl.
Yeah, Kelsey.
She has managed to have an abundance because she's one of those people that decorates for every holiday.
Laugh, love.
Yes.
You joke, but
she has it. She has the sign. But
figured.
it's the tasteful. It's so tasteful, and she's in a small apartment. And it looks so good, but I've definitely been to those places where there's just so much stuff on the walls and
where
stuff.
You feel kind of boxed in a little bit.
Can't do it. No, you need to have, again, openness. Feng shui is important, man.
What's the best paint color for a wall? Like this one's this one's actually called Forest Path.
Huh.
They say it's very soothing.
It's nice. I've enjoyed staring at it. Yeah.
Thank you. But what do you think is like the best color? Like, and that's not like any specific thing. It's just like if you were gonna paint your bedroom a color, for instance, like what would you go with? Or living room? I don't give a shit. Like what's a nice color on the wall?
I mean I'm a really subtle guy, so like a eggshell or off white. Yeah, it's good. But if I was feeling saucy, cauliflower blue, dude.
Ooh, I didn't know that cauliflower's blue.
Cornflower blue.
That makes more sense, yeah.
My fault.
Cauliflower blue is probably not edible.
It's got to be. Look it up. See if it's got to be a color. Cauliflower blue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, next up, best fast food fries.
We literally just had an episode on this.
No shit.
Swear to God, we called it Food Fight. It's halfway through. We eventually got to fries.
Cauliflower blue is not a thing.
Damn.
All right, so what you got then? We'll do it Desert Island style. You get 3 requests for your Desert Island fast food fries, and what are they?
I count Five Guys as fast food.
I do too.
I'm giving, and it's got to be the Five Guys Cajun fries.
Absolutely, it does. I completely agree with that.
The regular fries, trash.
I don't care about the regular fries. Don't only talk to me about Cajun fries.
And then, so that's number 1.
Yep.
Number 2, you got to give it to McD's.
They're so good. They're just so good and consistent. They're consistently delicious.
And if they didn't hate the gays, it would be Chick-fil-A. But I can't allow it.
I can't in good conscience put Chick-fil-A down.
Can't in good conscience put it in the top reason. 3. So I'm gonna do Sonic Tater Tots.
Ooh, okay. I see you with the curveball.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with. I'd say Five Guys, McDonald's, and then I'm gonna throw Whataburger fries in there because I can't have Whataburger fries in here in California.
Heartbreaking.
So I romanticize how good they taste no matter what. Like I don't even care if they're that good. They're just good to me because I built them up.
The only reason why the Whataburger fries are good is because they pair so well with the Whataburger's ketchup.
Yeah, and like something about their fountain drinks there, when you get a Coke at Whataburger, it just tastes better. I don't know what it is. It just
different,
does.
man. Just
it's
different.
it hits different, you know? I don't know what it is. How good is Sam Smith?
I haven't listened to Sam Smith in such a long time.
Yo, but he's been featured in so much shit.
He's been featured now that you wow.
Like just go listen to like any Sam Smith song and try. Just try to tell yourself that you don't like it, or like, this guy's not that good. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone ever say like, man, Sam Smith's overrated.
He's okay.
Because he's not.
He's not.
It's just fucking insane, right?
He is a fantastic musician.
There's something
beautiful
about,
voice.
Yeah, there's just something about him, and like I like that leads me into the follow-up, like universally respected artists. Like there are some artists who people like all universally are like, oh yeah, that person's fucking like I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Chick Corea. I've never heard anyone be like, oh, Chick Corea is totally overrated. Like he's so, like, no, he doesn't. He's fucking great. Like
he's fucking great.
Same thing with like Adele. No one's ever been like, Adele's a little overrated. No, she's accurately or underrated. Like one of those. And I feel that way about Sam Smith too. Like, never said anything shitty about Sam Smith because he's just way too likable and he is a voice of an angel.
I can't disagree.
Can you think of like any other artist?
I'm trying to think. Evan, chime in if you got anybody off the top of your head.
Yeah, Evan, you got anyone? It's tricky, right? Because I can
universal
stand here and be like,
musicians.
dude, Phil Collins is so awesome, and then someone will be like, Phil Collins is an asshole, and I'll be like, yes, but
great
have you
musician.
heard those gated drums back in the 80s? Like, have you heard what is it? Something jacket, no jacket. Have you heard No Jacket Required? Like,
oh my goodness,
shit like that. I was like,
I don't think anybody. No, because now he's a business mogul. I was gonna say Dr. Dre, but I don't know. That's a hard one. I'd have to chew on that one.
It's fun, right?
That's a fun one, though. That's a fun one.
Yeah, chew on it. Well, I mean, if you think of it, then like we'll give it credence. Why is milk so weird?
What?
Why is milk so weird?
I hate milk.
So many people do. I have milk only because I have an espresso machine, and so I do like lattes and shit.
The only reason I will ever buy milk is because I started. I specifically will only started making Cuban coffee.
Oh yeah,
café con leche.
Oh, delicious! Fucking love
only
it.
time I'll drink regular milk. Otherwise, it's almond milk for the win, man. Anybody. Again, same girl, Kelsey. She's one of those people that like with a chicken. She'll have chicken rice and broccoli with a glass of milk, and I can't trust her.
Yeah, not into that.
I can't.
My stepbrother drinks like every day. Will drink like a tall glass of whole milk, and I don't know how he does it. Yeah, and like it's weird to think that that's such a because like you grow up and your parents are always like drink milk. You got to drink milk. It's good. It builds strong bones. Like there was like this huge like propaganda movement for milk for some reason. And,
got milk.
Yeah, you got milk. Exactly. Like what the fuck was with that? Like why was big milk coming for us?
I don't know, man.
I don't either. Was sales down and like farmers are like, yo, we got excess milk, man. We gotta get this shit off the shelves. And then people were like, coffee's really cool, and then it became just a staple.
Yeah.
Like I'm so interested.
I might do a deep dive on that.
I think you
personally
have to.
on why where the milk propaganda came
milk.
from.
Yeah, where did it? And then like you branch off into like it's almost like it's like big milk is Catholicism, and then like soy milk and oat milk are like are like being a Baptist or a Methodist, where it's like I'm a little spicy, but I'm not like that Catholic stuff. Like
I'm not Catholic stuff. Like, I'm healthier than that.
Yeah, like who are saints? Come on, like that's crazy. But hey, Jesus though. So like,
oh my God.
I think of my milks as like religions.
That's
I don't subscribe to any of them, but I'll drink every now and then. You know. All right, gaming and why I love to hate it. That's what I wrote. Gaming. Do you play any video games?
I just recently did.
The first time? Like
I was gaming in high school. Halo 3, Gears 2, all day, playing that online, almost like trying to get into competitive scene.
Ooh,
and
spicy.
then my 360 got the red ring of death, and
The
then I
worst.
didn't play any video games until this this past Christmas break.
What'd you play?
And then
What got you out of it?
I bought a PlayStation because it was on sale for Black Friday.
Nice.
And then no bullshit, Fortnite.
Oh, nice. Very fun.
And
my little 10-year-old brother had me download Fortnite and proceeded to kick my ass, and I was like, I'm just not gonna play anymore.
Dude, the only reason why I play it is because me and a bunch of my teacher buddies, we all have like different consoles, and that's like a little nice unwind, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's kind of therapeutic in that way.
Yeah, just get to talk mess with some of the boys and
oh, for sure. I love that.
Shoot some kids. It's good. Yeah, shoot
Always
some games. Kids on games. We don't shoot kids out here.
Yeah, I got into like Warzone, the Call of Duty Warzone.
I started getting into that.
Like same kind of principle, right?
But the since it just came out, the heavily downloading, I think they got it squared away now.
Holy Christ, dude! No, they didn't. It takes up like half of my Xbox space. It's ridiculous. It's truly preposterous. It makes no sense. It
doesn't make any sense for a game to be that big.
You can have like some of these games that look beautiful and have graphics that are like way more complicated take up literally a quarter of the space. Like, seriously. What the fuck is with that? It's crazy. So like I think I put this because like I've been playing Warzone lately and I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it's one of those that's like masochistically fun where you're like, I'm not good at it.
For sure.
But I'm okay. I'm like I understand. I conceptually understand it. So like as you play, you're like, man, fuck this shit. But then you come back anyway. You're like, okay, let's play another round. I think I can do better. Like it's just kind of weird, right?
I stopped playing Fortnite because school someone had started. And I'm just like, I'll hop back on. I'm like, I'm so bad now. I wasn't good before, but now I'm back to being terrible. And I'm just angry and just like looking around, just like sad. Yeah, I feel it.
Oh my God.
What else?
Yeah, let's see. I put The Modern Teacher. I think we kind of touched on that.
Touched on it. It's a tough life. We're all just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's and like I said earlier, it's so like my mom's a choir director, right? And she's in Harker Heights actually. She's at Ellison High School. If that.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, right so she's having to navigate like the weirdness of the TEA saying like, hey, we need you guys in school for classes, and then backing off and saying like, just kidding, like you're gonna do synchronous learning and asynchronous learning, but also be in classrooms sometimes. Like, man, this is fucked up shit. If they're like, hey, teachers, we need you to do 3 times as many work for no extra pay, like that's fucking crazy, right?
It's great.
Like, do you feel like if this kind of stuff continues, like if we are in this pandemic for the remainder of the year, like what needs to happen for teachers? Like, I worry about all of my friends who are teachers right now, like legitimately, and especially in states like Texas and Florida and like really the South as a whole, and even like California out here, it's cuckoo bananas, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
I worry because I don't think people who are making decisions really understand the implications of the decisions that they're making.
Yeah.
And the effects that it has on you
guys. And it's very frustrating that that's the case. My biggest thing has just been, you really got to understand that nothing is going to be like, get over the frustration that you're going to make 7 plans and the one that you're probably going to do is the 8th one.
Yeah.
And just be okay with it. And I was talking to my other directors and I was like, I have so little like goals to grasp on as an educator this year that I'm leaning more towards personal goals. Like, I looked into it. I've always had a dream to be in a bodybuilding competition.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
And
I love that.
I think this is the best time for me to do it because I'm not going to have the opportunity to teach like I normally would. So
yeah, but you've got time to work out.
I got time to work out and I got time to take care of myself
Yeah.
at a better level. So that's the goal. December 19th, there's a competition out in Waco. So
Oh shit! I love that, man.
I said it out on the podcast, so now it's got to be real. Damn it.
I love that. I love that, dude.
So we'll see, man.
I'll be hitting you up to keep you accountable, man.
Please do, man. And then I'm gonna be bodied up for Steven's wedding.
Dude, jet puffed Marcus is my favorite Marcus.
Gonna be I'm probably gonna have to buy a
Give
new
me that
suit.
Michelin Man Marcus.
Dude,
that's what I want to see.
I'm trying, man. Trying.
I want to see Pumping Iron Marcus. Like Pumping Iron, it bumps me up. It's great. Like, give me that. That's what I want.
We'll see, dog. I'm excited. It's definitely been just like the podcast. It's been marinating in my mind for well over 5 years now, and now I finally have like the job security. I'm in good health. I have knowledge of diet, so.
Yeah, dude.
I don't have an excuse anymore.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that so much. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty much all I had on my list.
That's it. All right, man. That was a solid list. Give me best burger. Top 3 fast food joints.
Fast food burger. Okay.
Fast food burger.
I'd say Five Guys is up there.
Yep.
For me, Five Guys is really, really good and very consistent too. And like I like that I don't have to pay extra for fucking toppings. Like that's pretty cool.
The only issue I have with Five Guys burger is the bun.
Yeah, me too. I would say
such
that
a weak bun.
If they up their bun game and then like did like a toasty bun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of toasted the sides of it, I think it would be like number one easy.
Yeah. Easy.
Everything else is so good from them. Like that would be it. I like In-N-Out, but that's because In-N-Out in California is better than it is in Texas.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah, it's weird, but it is a fact. And then I dream of Whataburger still, so I'd say Whataburger is definitely in there. You always want what you can't have. You know what I mean?
That's fair, man. That's
fair.
I got you.
What about you?
Let me see if I can be consistent.
Evan goes out to you too. What do you got?
I can't remember what order I put it in, but I know I gave a shout out to Burger King.
Okay, love the
Not
BK
gonna lie.
Lounge.
Just I enjoy the burger itself.
Dude, they make the Whopper is always clutch.
It's solid, man, and
it's always clutch. Yeah, it always comes when you least expect it.
the fries again are trash.
They're the worst.
Burger is solid. I think I gave it up to In-N-Out as well, because I can get the protein style.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know,
And it's pretty cheap too.
it's
like,
mad
all
cheap.
things considered.
Mad cheap. And then I think I probably Whataburger as well. But my only thing against Whataburger is Whataburger is not good at 3 p.m.
No, it's only good at night. It's a fact. I
It
don't
is
know why.
only good after 10 p.m.
Yeah,
and
I don't know why.
It's a fact.
I don't make the rules. I have no
I don't make
idea
the rules
why.
either.
I also get like everything at Whataburger on Texas toast.
As you should.
Yeah, this is the way.
This is the way, and that's yeah. What about you? Evan? What do you got?
I'm a Whataburger, and then probably Wendy's is somewhere in there.
I respect that. Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had a Muya burger before. It's this
Which
little.
one?
It's called Muya burger. It's kind of like.
I have had
It's kind of like
Muya.
Five Guys. Yeah.
Yeah, Muya is great.
Okay.
That's deep cuts, man. I like that a lot.
Solid.
Give me your top 3 DCI shows in the last 20 years.
Oh, Jesus.
They should all be within the last 10 years, by the way. Let's get real. There's nothing before 2010 that was like mind-blowing in a way that hasn't been.
I will challenge you on 2008.
Which core?
The 2008 year, just in general,
wow, really?
It was a big turnaround for just how shows were written.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
like
that's probably fair.
That year was like arguably the first year that like GE pulled as much from like into the show concept itself. So with Spartacus at Phantom, so you had that full blown story being told.
Yeah. Just
knockout.
change modern core.
Yeah, change modern core. So I'll just give 2008 as one.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
And then I'll give it up to Jesus. Blue Coats
Give it up
Tilt.
to Jesus.
Gotta give it up
Blue
to
Coats
Jesus.
Tilt 2014.
2014.
Dude, that show blew my fucking mind. I show people that show who don't even care about drum corps just because it's so cool.
Yep.
Oh my god, the end is like fucking chills every time. I always get goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps talking about it. It's so cool.
And then give it up to Purple Pants Band's Carolina Crown 2013. 13?
Yeah.
E equals MC squared.
Yeah, that's on my list too. That I think about that one so much.
Because I think that one, like, everybody knew Carolina Brass was, but that show kind of like solidified them as like the number one brass in drum corps.
That was a perfect played show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I still, did they win that year?
Yes. Yeah.
They won because their brass was just
so their drums are trash.
Impenetrable. That
drums got like 6th or 7th.
I remember I think like the end of the second movement, right, where they've got like the slow part. It's literally perfect. Like astoundingly perfect. Yeah. And for me, it was like that's why they won. Because that same year was Rewrite of Spring, I think, from Blue Devils, who another SRT guy was actually in Blue Devils for that show. He was euphonium for it, and he teaches Blue Devils B Corps
right on
now. But yeah, him and his girlfriend were both in that corps actually. That's a big one for me. I love that show, just because like the Blue Devils have always been like, it's been since at least 2010. Blue Devils are like the gold standard for drill. Just like
their drill design is very much on a different level. As a dude that is a large part of drill design now, they're only able to get away with it because you have the best people out there. Because they correct me if I'm wrong, Evan, but they don't have hard dots.
No.
Yeah, they don't have hard dots. So the dude that writes the drill is just like, hey, you 10, go over there in 16 counts.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could 4-step spacing the entire time.
I could talk to the guys who were in there and to talk about their experience too, because I lived with them actually for a year. And he's a good friend of mine. Yeah, it's wild, man. They're so good. Tilt was probably up there for me too. That was one that always comes to mind. Oh God, what's another one? I mean, those three are always big ones that I think of. And I'm trying to think. Like, I thought Ghost Light was pretty good from this last year. I think. I think that was Blue Devils. I really liked this last year. There was oh God, I don't remember the core, but like they were like 10th, 8th or 10th or something. The Mandarins, I think. Yeah. But their show kicked ass. Like their show creatively kicked so much ass. It was really cool. They're just they're kind of like a middle range chord, in the finesse of everything as a whole.
Yeah. And similarly, I'll give shout out to, what was it, 15 Academy Corpse Bride? 16. Yeah. Nice. They just snuck in at 12th, and it was just really fun, really great show. It was just good.
I could listen to Carolina Crown do space chords all day.
Well, I actually need to go eat dinner, big dog.
Yeah, for sure.
It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Before we bounce, is there anything last minute you want to plug, shout out, final thoughts, life-changing advice, anything for the kids at home?
I don't know. The blind man only knows what he cannot see. Yeah, how about that? Ooh. But thank you for so much for having me on. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Evan, for working all the tech and everything too. Like, this has been super easy as a process. So
absolute pleasure. But any projects you want to plug, man? I know you're working on stuff.
Nah, not really. I've got like I'm always working on shit, so I probably have like some horror vehicles coming out soon, and
Okay.
maybe some others. I don't know. Like it's always in motion, so it's hard
Hey
to
man,
say.
anything that you put out, send it my way. I will gladly share it.
Oh, for sure, man. For
And
sure. I
then
appreciate that.
absolutely, brother. Can't wait to see you back in Texas for. I assume the next time is gonna be Vogel's wedding.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Stay safe out there in Cali.
Will
Hopefully,
do.
the world stops being on fire soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man. You be
Yeah,
careful.
thank you guys.
Easy. Peace.
You too.